Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the ReelTok Podcast. My name is George, your host for today, joined alongside Tyler and Cameron. Seth is not here today. He was not able to make this weekend. And honestly, 35 episodes in, I'm surprised this is the first time this has happened. I think we've done pretty good with timing. We did, however, pre-record our Guardians of the Galaxy 3 spoiler review. So when you get to that portion of the episode, Seth will join us. We recorded that on May 4th, last Thursday. But regardless, we are here recording episode 35. As always, we are all over the place: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. So make sure you're following, make sure you're subscribed. Whatever you do on Apple Podcasts, if you follow, like, or subscribe, do it there as well. Patreon, we are there as well. We had our first Patreon watch along last night. Second patron watch along last night. My fault. Last night we watched From Dusk Till Dawn, which was fantastic. A lot of fun, good turnout. If you want to be a part of those, check out the Patreon, check out the tiers, check out what we have to offer. We also have our fantastic Discord, which is more active than I ever expected it to be. But gentlemen, let's get right into this episode. Like we said, I feel like this is going to be a relatively short record of a week. Not a lot happened this week on the news front. We obviously got the big Dune 2 trailer. We have some news. We'll talk about the writer's strike. And then we're not doing a draft this week. We are actually doing a trivia. I am pinning Cam versus Tyler. I have five categories of five questions each: the Oscars, Marvel, George, A24, and miscellaneous. So I'm very excited to get there. Yes, there's a category about me.
I love it.
See how well you guys know me. Tyler, how was your week?
It's been a good week. Nothing out of the ordinary too much. This upcoming week, I'll be going to DC for work, so that'll be a little fun little trip. I'm going to just, on Wednesday, I have, nothing planned, so I'm just going to walk around DC alone, just, sightsee and stuff. I've been there before, but it's been a while, so I'll go check that stuff out. But, yeah, I'm pretty standard. Last night was fun. That watch-along was really fun. Just, From Dusk Till Dawn, just, the perfect movie to watch with people and not have to, be silent and taken seriously the whole time. It's just a fun, campy movie to watch along with some buddies. So that was a fun time. But yeah, nothing I can think about. Technically, since Guardians was last week, I haven't gone to the theater since then. So it's going through withdrawals. So I'm shaking a little bit. Need to get inside the theater, or else it's gonna get bad real soon. But yeah, solid week.
Yeah, that too. We all, the three of us, had a chance to see Guardians pretty early. So this is there was no new big releases that we need to talk about on the podcast. I saw Sisu last night, but we've already kind of touched on that because Tyler saw it last week. But other than that, this was the slowest week in terms of new releases. Cam, how are you?
Not that. See, here's the problem. That's not true. This week is the Guardians of the Galaxy week. We just saw it last week. That's why it's slow. It's just, and you also saw it again.
I did see it again. Yeah, so it was good. It was even better the second time.
But it's a big week of release. Most people, this will be the big week. But week's been good. I will say, I think you mentioned in the Guardians review that first time in 35 episodes we have someone gone. So you also mentioned it here. So it'll be funny that we just we're gonna get it twice. And
yeah, because we recorded this we recorded that 5 days ago at this point, 4 days ago. So it's I forgot half the stuff we said. So we're probably
that's fine. It's been a good week. Didn't get to see Guardians again, which kind of stinks, but that's all right. Got a new puppy last week. I feel like I'm gonna have to go get him and reveal him on the pod. But I did come home. So this morning I woke up, went and got some stuff for Emma. I went and got coffee for us and came home. And then the downstairs just smelled like shit. And I'm like, yeah, he definitely shit in his crate. And that's exactly what happened. So that's why I asked if we could move it a little bit behind, because I was just cleaning up shit. Yeah, so that's always fun. The beauties of having a new puppy. That's kind of been taking up my week. Just an entertaining week with him. But y'all talk. I'm getting him.
All right, let's whenever Cam gets back, let's go a little out of order this week, just since we've already pre-recorded that Guardians review. Let's go right now what we've been watching this week. We could start. I'll start since I probably threw you off with the change of direction here, Tyler. I apologize. It's been a slow week for me, but I was able to check off more from my watch list than I ever have in like 1 week, which isn't like that many. I watched Host, which is a horror film. Seth recommended to me. It was one of those like webcam horror movies. I said I love that concept, but if you're not really like scaring the shit out of me with those movies, it's not going to be effective. There's Cam's new dog. If you're just listening to this episode, I'm sorry you're missing this, but Cam is showing his new dog Echo.
See, y'all saw him last night on the watch along, but
yeah, we did.
This is the official ReelTok on inauguration, or what was the king thing last night or yesterday?
Coronation.
Coronation, yeah. This is the coronation of ReelTok puppy.
Man, that puppy is active.
The dog is nervous for his debut.
Yeah, dog's on air right now.
All right, continue.
I also watched We're All Going to the World's Fair, which was interesting.
Isn't that another one of those webcam horrors, or is that not?
It's not like the screen isn't like a Zoom page. It's like this girl is just kind of like, she does this thing called the World's Fair, which is like this online like virtual reality, like immersive like horror experience, and you basically just like watch her like dive into madness. It is filmed from like her laptop cameras, but like it's not like she's on webcam with anyone. And some of the movie is not filmed that way. Some of the movie is filmed like normally. And I also finally watched Moon Age Daydream, which I really, really enjoyed. That's the David Bowie documentary. I've been putting that off for way too long, but it's finally on HBO Max.
Yeah, I was surprised you put that out that long, because like it's been out. I don't know how long it's been out, but that just always to me seemed like something that was like right up your alley or something.
I know. I've been meaning to watch it forever, and then I finally saw it on the HBO Max homepage, and I was like, all right, let's finally just watch this. And I know a lot of people, I think Sydney has it in like her top 5 of last year or something. So a lot of people rate it highly. Rewatched Guardians 3, better the second time around. Finally watched Sisu. And like I was telling Tyler last night, this was like gearing up to be a very like high 4, low 4.5 for me. And then like, no spoilers, but like the last act just, it gets so out of control with like how much you have to suspend reality, and just compared to like the first 2 acts of the film, it just was so off-putting for me.
It's like John Wick. It's like John Wick 3 when he like falls off like that building.
Yeah,
it's like 10 times that.
Literally, there's so many moments in that, just the third act alone, where I was like, all right, we're really pushing it right now. And then last night, watched From Dusk Till Dawn, that was my first time watching that movie, so I'm happy we picked that for the watch along. And I did enjoy that. I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. And then right after, I killed Sing Street, because that is the movie review that we are going to be talking about on this week's Real Quick episode. So there's your announcement. If you have not seen Sing Street and you want to be in the know and kind of understand what we're talking about when that Real Quick drops, get around to watching Sing Street. I also just highly recommend it in general. Cam, what have you been watching? Star Wars?
Yeah, it's Star Wars week, so I was watching Star Wars. This is like a national holiday for myself. I feel like I should get work off and everything. Watch Sing Street, like you mentioned. Watch Guardians 1 and half of 2. So I'll finish 2 and then log it or whatever. What else did I watch? Just a whole lot of nothing. I'm the worst on this podcast because it's just all Star Wars recently. But obviously From Dusk Till Dawn last night, which we mentioned. I don't get to the theater more than once a week. So eventually, now that all these movies that I missed early on in the year are starting to get on VOD, just gonna grind through those probably. But I have to. I can't stop Star Wars, man. I gotta keep going. It just takes.
Where are you? Where are you in your watch?
I'm through season 1 of Rebels. So
it's crazy you're also including the TV shows.
Yeah, I think I'm more than halfway at this point. So like Clone Wars is obviously the longest medium, 7 seasons of 22 episodes through Obi-Wan Kenobi show and through Solo. So I feel like I'm more than halfway. 2 seasons of Bad Batch I've already done. I don't know.
Love that.
I'm hoping I'm over the hump. I'm hoping I'm over the hump. Bad Batch, by the way, much better in second season. I didn't like
I like first season. I feel like I'm like the only one that like expresses my like interest in that show, period. But first season 1, I thoroughly enjoy.
You know, I watch everything. I also do think it works. There some shows are just meant, and this is bad now in streaming age, but some shows are just meant to be binged. You know, I don't remember back then, week to week for like a 22-minute show had to be brutal, man.
Yeah.
I just so I didn't have any interest in like watching 16 episodes week to week, 22 minutes an episode. Just, I don't know. I'd rather binge that kind of show.
That's fair. Like watching, like I only watched The Office, I think live like the last season. I was late to the Office party.
That's me with How I Met Your Mother. I never watched The Office.
Yeah, and I remember going from like binging 8-9 seasons to like watching it week by week, and I was like, this is just these episodes are too short to be not binged.
The How I Met Your Mother at least felt like it felt like we were building towards something. You know, towards the mother, and then kill her off. You suck. Writers of that show, you're an idiot.
Spoiler, we're gonna have one viewer who's currently watching How I Met Your Mother just to hear that.
Tough.
Tyler, what have you been watching?
Let's see. Going back to before last week's pod, or since last week's pod, I watched some 2023 releases. I watched Doggone, which is a Netflix movie with Rob Lowe. It's about a kid named Fielding who gets a dog named Gonker, and like that's so dumb, and I wanted to like make fun of it in my review, but then it was like based on a true story, so I'm like, oh god, there are real people that are named this. But I just hated it. It's like it's just like a classic dog gets lost and has to try to find it. But like the whole like things like about like how he like gets a dog when he's in college, and he's like so irresponsible and doesn't understand how much of like a commitment they are. And I'm just like, this is a dumb movie. Like I don't feel bad for you that you lost your dog. Like you're an asshole. Like you're like because like. Basically, like the dog would always be getting like interrupting his parents' Zoom meetings and always getting in the neighbor's yard, and she's like, this guy's like such an incompetent dog owner, and then of course it gets lost. Like you suck. Like you don't deserve this dog. I hope it finds a different family. Watching Nosferatu, which came out 101 years ago, so I'm ready for the Robert Eggers remake. I know we've talked about that like in so many episodes of the pod, but I don't actually know when it's coming out. I'm guessing like 2024 at some point, but ready for that now. Got all the lore down. Rewatched Monster House, faced some childhood traumas, so got that taken care of. Honestly, like just a good movie. Like when I rewatched it, like it's actually like you watch it as a kid and you're like, it's terrifying. You watch it as an adult, and you're like, there's some good themes going on here actually. Rewatched Seven also. Didn't love it as much as I remember. That's the same as Zodiac. Like I don't know if it's just a David Fincher thing for me, but it's just like I loved Zodiac and Seven when I was younger, and then I rewatched him now, and I just didn't love him as much. Riley fell asleep like immediately. She's like, that was the most boring 45 minutes of a movie I've ever seen in my life, which I kind of agree. When I rewatched it, I was like, this is way more of a slow burn than I thought.
I do feel the same about Zodiac.
Zodiac for sure is a slow burn.
Yeah, Zodiac I used to love. Zodiac used to be like the easiest 5 out of 5 on for me on Letterboxd, and I rewatched it maybe like a year ago, and I was like, this is a lot.
So good, man. I watch it again, and I love it more and more every time.
I've probably seen Zodiac like 6 times at this point in my life, because I remember the first time I saw it, like I was like holding my breath during the Jake Gyllenhaal basement scene. I was like, this is amazing. And then like the second time I watched it, I was like, this isn't that great, and then I just keep doing like all the killing scenes are so bad.
I've only seen Seven once. I watch Zodiac quite often. I don't know why, but I love Zodiac for some reason.
Let's see what else. Watch Baby Driver. Good movie. I think the only other time I'd seen it, I think, was like in theaters. So been a while since I saw it. Very cancelable cast, but other than that, solid movie. Pope's Exorcist.
That cast is something else.
Wow.
Yeah. Is there only just 2 in the cast that, or am I missing one?
It's Ansel Elgort
and Kevin Spacey. So I'm sure there's a more cancelable cast out there that has 3 people or something, but yeah, still not great. The Pope's Exorcist was not what I was expecting at all. Just like because it says it's like based on a true story, so like I'm like obviously it's gonna be like stretched, but like the final 30 minutes, I'm like, how is this ever based on a true story? This goes like. But like almost barbarian levels of bonkerness. I'm like, there's just no way this is a true story. Or else they're really stretching it. Seth's not here, but he'll be happy to know I watched another Bergman. I watched Autumn Sonata. Very, very freaking good movie.
What you call it that he didn't pick up on?
I said I'm watching fall poetry.
Fall poetry. That was
just because I always make fun, like, because he would always be like, "Oh, I'm watching Wild Strawberries" or "I'm watching Autumn Sonata," and it's always like I feel like he's just taking two words and putting them together at this point. Yeah. Riley and I watched The Meg, which is just so fun. Like
great. I love it.
Such a dumb movie, but I had so much fun with it. And like literally, like I was telling Cam, I was like literally like the next day, I was still thinking back to it. I was like, I just had fun with that, man. Like I'm excited for the second one. Like just
was the part that so you said Riley said there's a scene that she just dies laughing that you're not supposed to. Was that when the first when they think they've captured the Meg and all of a sudden there's a second Meg?
I can't. It's like when one of the guys is like floating on his back in the ocean and like everything seems like it's okay and then he just gets swallowed. Which I think that might be because I think that like at that point's when they have caught the other Meg on the boat.
Caught the other Meg.
Yeah, and he's like, "Ooh," just like
clearly not the Meg. It's like a 20-pound shark or something. They're like, "We've got it."
What I love about that movie is like it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like it's so campy. But like they spend like 20 minutes describing like the complex science of like how the Meg, like the temperature changes in the water, like created a pocket that allowed. I'm like, you don't need to explain this right now. Just like
I gotta go back and watch that thing, man. I saw that in 3DX where it like split, it like hits you with some water.
Oh god,
incredible!
With all the blood, just like sprays ketchup at the audience.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But yeah, and then other than that, watch The Tutor, which is another 2023 movie, which everyone commented on my Letterboxd review where they're like, "Where do you find these movies?" It was a theatrical release, but it's it's just like such a Netflix thriller movie, but it was like released in theaters because like Noah Schnapp's in it, and I think he just has like a crazy social media reach. So like, oh, maybe we'll get some tickets sold.
Yeah, classic.
But yeah, and then the only other thing was The World's End. So I finished the Cornetto trilogy plus the bonus one because I also watched Paul. So like I think those are all the Simon and Pegg movies that they've done as a duo together. Those four, but
wait, is Paul's not Edgar Wright too?
No, it's not. But like it's the same two lead characters. So like it's like the second cousin of the Cornetto trilogy. It's like I feel like they did the Cornetto trilogy and like Edgar Wright was like, I'm moving on to other stuff, but the actors are kind of like, I kind of want to do another movie together. Let's find something else.
I was gonna say
I love Simon Pegg.
Yeah, they're fun. How would you rank the Cornetto trilogy?
In release order, I think Shaun of the Dead was my favorite. Then like a teeny tiny step down to Hot Fuzz, and then like a decent step down to The World's End.
Okay, that's exactly how I rank it. I think I have Shaun of the Dead like not way higher, but higher than Hot Fuzz. Like I don't think they're that close. And then That World's End is my last rank.
I like Paul more than The World's End too.
I gotta rewatch Paul. Paul is like just one of those comedies I feel like comes up in conversation every so often, and I'm like, wow, I always forget about that movie.
Weirdly stacked cast. Like Seth Rogen plays the alien.
Yeah.
And like there's so many other like side characters like that are in the movie for so little, like Jane Lynch and like Bill Hader, like all these minor characters. Are like, oh shit, like you're a big name to be in this movie for 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right, guys, moving on. It is time for our Guardians of the Galaxy 3 review. If you notice, Seth has joined us. We had a little bit of, hello, Seth. We had a little bit of a time crunch this week in terms of getting everyone on the podcast. So we are recording the Guardians 3 spoiler review right now. It is Thursday, May 4th. Happy Star Wars Day. The rest of the episode, everything you are seeing, was recorded on Sunday. Obviously, we want to get out the same content we get out, every single week to you guys. So we're recording this episode 2 different times. If you notice, I'm in a different location. Tyler's room looks a little different. We're wearing different clothes. Seth is now with us. Welcome, Seth. So let's just jump. Yeah, they got it.
They're confident people.
If you guys missed that, Seth is with us now, just in case. But let's just jump right into it. Last week, we gave our non-spoiler reviews. Seth, I want to start with you since you didn't participate last week. You hadn't seen the movie. Let's start with your very brief thoughts on Guardians 3. Obviously, it's your favorite MCU movie. You made that very clear on Twitter and TikTok. So let's get your very quick thoughts before we jump into the spoiler part of the episode.
Yeah, so I've said before that the Guardians are like kind of my favorite thing in the MCU because I just feel like they work as standalone films, and James Gunn, in my opinion, I'm sure in most people's opinions, is probably the most talented filmmaker in terms of writing, and I just appreciate the fact that MCU gives James Gunn the freedom.
I assume you mean in comic book movies, or do you just mean like most
Well,
talented, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I
I
can't
assumed.
re-
I just
I
wanted
can't
to make
really,
sure.
I can't really say like Zack Snyder, for example, because I've not seen anything. So it's like
And
I don't.
don't worry, and he's not, so it's fine.
Stop.
I guess so. But it's hard for me to say that when I've seen. My favorite Zack Snyder film was Dawn of the Dead, and I haven't seen anything else. So 300 actually. He did 300, didn't he? Yeah, 300.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, really, really liked it, and more than just kind of liked it for an MCU film. I think everyone was quite surprised. Twitter was in a ruckus waiting for. I had messages I left the cinema and like you guys have tweeted about it. I had messages about this, and I think it's important to note that like I didn't like this for an MCU film. I just liked this. Does that make sense? I didn't like this more than the average MCU film. I just really liked this as a standalone project. I think it was a perfect send off. I think it had some issues, which I'll go into kind of more in the spoilers, but I think some Marvel issues that we do tend to see, and they're not really going to escape from fully, that aren't my favorite things, but I think it was very minimal. I think it was hilarious. I laughed. I cried. That's a fucking Marvel film. What's wrong with me? Like, I'm talking multiple cries as well. Not just like a tear. I'm talking like by the end, I was like, I could barely see. I think all the characters worked really well. It was exactly what I wanted. It was a great send off for my favorite portion of the MCU. Yeah, it was my favorite portion of the MCU. So I'll go into it more with spoilers, but right now it's a 4.5 for me, which makes it my first 4.5 in the MCU, my highest MCU rated movie. And actually, I did check. This is officially my fifth highest superhero movie ever.
Oh, I thought it was third.
It was, but I didn't count. So it would be The Dark Knight, then it would be The Incredibles, and then it would be Into the Spider-Verse, and then it would be The Batman, and then it would be this. So when I was thinking about it, for some reason, animated movies, I know, incredible for me. Especially The Incredibles, I don't really like, do you know what I mean? As a superhero film, it didn't come to my mind straight away.
Yes, Fantastic Four film.
Yeah. Top 5 is pretty impressive. I really liked it. It was very surprising. I'll go into a bit more with spoilers, but it was great. It was really good.
Trust me, I think I speak on behalf of all of our followers that we were very excited that you enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
All right, but let's go for it, Cam.
I think this is my 5th highest rated
superhero movie ever.
I think I got Dark Knight, Spider-Verse, Logan, Infinity War. This.
Where do you have
the Batman's a 95?
Did you drop the Batman?
No, it's always been a 95.
Oh,
what did you give this? A 98 or
96?
Okay.
Yeah, so 5 out of 5 superhero movies.
Well, that shows just how highly we rate it. I mean, I also give it a 4.
Where's The Incredibles come?
Oh, and also a 95 actually, so 7.
So still 5 then.
Beautiful.
Nice.
So, so spoiler talk. I gave it a 4.5. Seth gave it a 4.5. Cam and Tyler gave it a 5 out of 5. So let's jump into spoilers. And again, I cannot stress this enough. The movie only came out like 5 days ago for a lot of people. So if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, please just skip ahead. Like, I don't know, maybe like 40, 45 minutes.
We have the timestamps in
we have the timestamps. Just skip ahead. This is not a movie we want to. Yeah, just go to the last episode for our spoiler-free thoughts. Let's start with just the general synopsis of this movie, or not even a synopsis, just how grounded this movie feels. There's no Kang. There's no connection here really to the larger MCU movie. I think Cam mentioned last week that this is the second MCU movie now that
could be wrong, but yeah, I think that is.
Either way, that like summarizes what we're trying to say. Is this movie has like basically no connection to the greater MCU. There's no mention of Kang. There's no mention of Kang. There's no mention of like any other Avengers characters. And that's what I thoroughly enjoy about these Guardians movies. Like Seth said, they just feel like such standalone movies. So again, we're getting spoilers, so leave if you haven't seen the movie. This movie is basically about the Guardians on an effort, on a journey to save Rocket. The movie opens with Adam Warlock basically ravaging through nowhere. He puts Nebula in a blender. He puts Drax in a blender. He fucks up Rocket. So we'll start there. And I mentioned this last week again. That was one of my favorite character introductions in the MCU. It was so brutal. There were so many moments where I was like, wow, are we about to lose a main character in the first 15 minutes of this movie? And I want to shout out, and I'm sorry I don't have her name, like who plays Mantis. But there are multiple scenes where she's like crying and screaming. And I was like, wow, like that is hitting me. Like every time Drax got like smacked down, she was like belting out in tears, like Drax, no, oh my God. And I was like, wow, are we about to fucking lose someone? So we'll start there. And I want to start with Tyler, because I know, Tyler, you mentioned also last week that you do enjoy just how like small scale this movie is.
Yeah, for sure. So I will say Adam Warlock's initial intro when he was like flying to the sky, I didn't like. I thought that looked like a little bit like The Rock and Black Adam. Didn't love it, but yeah, like the whole scene of him being introduced was amazing. My favorite part about that too is the trailers that we all saw for the past few months. So much of them were the first 15 minutes of this movie, like Chris Pratt being carried off. Like immediately, he's like, "You thought we were gonna have them be dead? This is them carrying him off." No, this is the first 2 minutes of the movie. But yeah, it felt so self-contained. I really love that, like I said, like everything from the trailer was like in the first 15 minutes of the movie, so they really didn't give away much at all. And yeah, like that's what I said before we started recording this, like this is going to be probably my most rewatched MCU movie, just because you don't need to worry about precursor knowledge, and again, we don't know, but I'm assuming you don't need to worry about where this leaves off funneling into a bunch of other stuff that you have to carry on for storylines. You can just watch this as its own thing. But yeah, Adam Warlock, I loved him. But like, yeah, from the intro scene, you would have thought we would have got a lot more of him in this movie, but we didn't, which it was fine. I would have liked more of him, but I wouldn't say I'm detracting from the movie because of it. I think the way his character ended up being was well done. But yeah, I wish we would have got more of Will Poulter, because I thought he was really, really funny in this.
Yeah, I thought he was, and I maybe I'm mistaken the way I read like all the marketing material and the way I like looked into the trailer. I really thought he was going to be the main antagonist as opposed to the High Evolutionary. But the reason, and again, I also said I wish we got more of Adam Warlock, just because I thought Will Poulter was great. I thought he was hilarious.
His comedic timing is so
the one
good.
scene where he gets like stabbed with an arrow, and he's like, "Who did that?" And then he kind of walks off and goes, "Babies." I was like, "That's so funny," and like he has this like
it was
funny
the scene
accent.
with the animal where he's like, "I'm sad now," and it's like getting sad because it's crying and stuff like that. His comedic timing.
Yeah,
he was. You know what? He wasn't
obviously coming from like We're the Millers. Like he clearly is a good comedian.
Well, yeah, he knows what he's doing.
In English films, like he's very. I just think he's brilliant. I really, really do. And I think, to be fair, he didn't get a decent amount of screen time, and I think it made it good because every time he was on screen, I enjoyed every second he was in it. Yeah. I think my issue with Marvel a lot is especially with like a villain and antagonist, they'll try and spin a lot of humor onto it, which doesn't necessarily land well, other than the Guardians films. But with his character, it worked in such a way where he was kind of this innocent being who was just created to torture, but he had this persona that didn't kind of allow him to do that. And I just found him really interesting. He was definitely one of my favorite characters of the film, I would say.
Just while we're on the subject of him, I'm kind of the opposite in George. Like I very, I read into it way too much before the movie comes out. So it's kind of like a far from home situation where like Mysterio is the villain, even though all the trailers are showing that he's not, because it's very clearly like the same as in the comic books. He's the villain. And this was no different for me personally, in the sense that like Adam Warlock is a key member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics. So you kind of we're full spoilers, right? We're just spoiling everything. Like in the post-credit scene, in the mid-credit scene, I guess it sets up like the new team of Guardians, and he's obviously on it.
Well, I didn't know that, so kind of like with Far From Home, like you mentioned. I remember watching Far From Home and actually being genuinely quite surprised with the turnaround, because I'm fucking not anything about that.
And that's not, and I don't even know how I would feel like if I was genuinely surprised. That's not like, that's something I enjoy to like look into these. So I wasn't upset that I knew Mysterio was the villain. That was something like I knew I was getting myself into, and it's kind of like this. Like I know when I'm diving deep into like what could this movie be about, I know I'm probably gonna figure some stuff out. But I like how they used him, and I think it is a benefit almost to the movie that you're like, damn, I wish I had more of him. And it's kind of like in Thor: Love and Thunder, where everyone's favorite movie, but at the very least, you wish you got more Gore the God Butcher, and I'd prefer that rather to a villain where you're like, this guy kind of sucks, but I wish I got less of them.
However,
with
the
Gore
villain this one.
Yeah, in Thor: Love and Thunder, Gore the God Butcher was the main antagonist. So if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I wish we got more of the main antagonist, there's a problem. The High Evolutionary, he was in the movie, and he was there, and he was a really good character. Obviously, we mentioned last week that we all loved his acting performance like crazy. What was his name? Chuck Woody.
It's Chuck Woody Awuji. And also, dumb fucks.
He was fantastic.
Sorry, not you three, but just internet general. That's like one of James Gunn's best friends, you idiots. And everyone's mad about James Gunn's wife. The main villain in this movie is his best friend.
I thought you were going to touch on and his brother, Sean Gunn, right?
Well, Sean he's in everything.
I thought you were going to touch on Cam, how everyone on the internet's like, oh, he was so good in this. I hope James Gunn brings him into the DC universe. It's like he's already in the DC universe.
Is he? Yes, he's Myrn in Peacemaker. Yeah. Which I understand what that tweet was. I understand, like, hey, the DCEU is resetting, but also Peacemaker's getting a season 2, so it's not resetting. So
didn't mean to derail that.
Doesn't matter.
No. All right. Anyways, so I know if I texted you guys beforehand that we're not going to really go like scene by scene, but I kind of put together a couple of bullet notes. So Adam obviously just ravages through nowhere, leaving Rocket as injured as possible. The wounds that Rocket had basically did not allow. How do I explain this properly? Like they couldn't access his kill switch or something, or like they couldn't touch him because his kill switch was going to go off.
Yeah, he had a kill switch in his heart. Okay, because he's obviously a creature of the High Evolutionary. Yeah. They need to, it's plot armor. Which
the health pack that they have for him. It doesn't allow for the health pack to regenerate him. Like basically, the High Evolutionary gets to choose if he lives or dies.
Okay, so anyways, that's when we're basically introduced to the High Evolutionary, and that's when we start to get a lot of Rocket's backstory, which I think everyone expected going into this movie. They did not hide the fact that I think Rocket was the main character of this movie. We're getting a lot of his backstory. I loved every part of his backstory. It was so sad, but you're seeing it through the eyes of like this innocent little raccoon. So he doesn't really understand like what's truly going on until he kind of gets thrown in a cage with the otter, the
Lila Teefs and
Floor.
Floor, yeah.
Lila Teefs. Yeah, that was such a cute scene. Like, I'm gonna name myself Floor because I'm lying on a floor. If I were there, I'd be like, that's a stupid name. Pick something else.
I will say, did you guys touch on like Peter being drunk at the start and then them carrying him to his bed? Like that's so that's like the first like group shot, right? And that's like the big ending in the trailer. And there was all
we
these
touched on that.
Okay, there's all these theories of like, is Peter dead in this? Like obviously he's not, but it's funny that was just like at the very start and he's just passed out.
That would have been like if that was actually the ending of the movie, and that would have been the craziest thing to put in a trailer.
Yeah, ever. I know. But it's also one of those things like where Peter obviously was freaking out over Rocket, the big shot in the trailer where everyone's like, Rocket's dying. I thought that was going to happen at the start because the lighting was kind of similar. And I'm like, holy shit.
I noticed that. Yeah, I said that's right.
They pulled a fast one on us because I was like, oh, Rocket's not going to die. But then he's kind of sidelined, like other than his backstory for like 90% of this movie.
Yeah, but oh my God, that backstory sets up like that final, like when Rocket's like going off with Groot. It made it so much better because he's like facing up against the High Evolutionary, like one-on-one, or not one-on-one, like against his henchmen. And I mentioned it before we even started recording this podcast, Cam, before you get here. When Rocket like jumps off Groot and it's a slow-mo shot of him and he's like, I'm Rocket, raccoon. My theater lost its fucking mind. That scene was so fucking amazing.
I will say, right, I don't think I heard one laugh out loud last night.
Really?
No
When
way.
I went to fucking Ant-Man Quantum Shittier, all I heard was laughs out loud and then shocked when like something happened. I was probably laughing the most there, which is like fucking wild.
My theater was
Why are you not laughing at the good
hysterical.
films?
Yeah,
like, you're laughing
every single time
Whoa.
Drax like uttered second best friend. I
I
belted.
was,
so
me
funny.
and Anna were laughing. No one else fucking
I was
was.
crying.
There's one thing in this. There's a recurring joke in this movie, and I think it's recurring throughout the Guardians. This is my favorite part in this movie specifically, but I think, and I didn't rewatch him, I think it's recurring throughout the Guardians. No one calls him a raccoon. They're like that fucking hamster or something. And every time someone, it's the gerbil or whatever they call him. And every time it has me dying laughing. They're like, why is that rat on the ceiling or whatever? I don't know why. That's my favorite recurring joke in this.
Adam Warlock called him a rabbit at the start.
That's
He was
what
like,
it
"There's
was.
no rabbit." The one like clip Marvel released.
Yeah.
Did you guys? There was like one scene that had me dying. I don't even know if it was that funny. It was when they were in the fucking whatever it's called, and Gamora had that girl, Yora. She was holding and she had the gun to her head and whatever. And she said that guy looked like a carrot. And after it shows a shot of him, and he's like,
was that on Orgo Corp?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Orgosphere.
It was his face after.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Dying. At
That's
scene.
so funny, man.
That was so funny. That whole sequence in that place was amazing. I loved
the movie. And I'd like to hear your Cam specifically. I'd like to hear your thoughts because Tyler, I know you tweeted that this is the funniest MCU movie, like the most emotional. Do you agree with that, Cam? Is this the funniest MCU movie?
I think it probably is. I really do think Thor Ragnarok is one of the funnier.
Yeah,
this is probably number one. This is probably number one.
I'd go this be number one, Guardians 1 be number 2, and then Thor Ragnarok probably. And then Guardians.
I think I have Guardians 3 and Ragnarok are both my top two.
It's just James Gunn, man. It's so funny.
This movie is the best balance of comedy and drama and emotion.
But
the Guardians end up meeting up with the Ravagers, and surprise, Quill finds out Gamora is alive.
The leader of the Ravagers.
The leader of she's not only alive, she is the leader of the Ravagers.
Wait, we knew she was alive though. Like you knew she was alive.
We did, but Peter Quill did not.
Yeah, he did. He saw her in Endgame, man.
He knew. But
in Endgame, he saw her and she kicks him in the nuts. Remember?
Yeah, no, I know. I could have sworn he thought that that she got dusted away at the end.
No, because they're looking at the very end when Thor goes onto the ship. He's looking at a picture of her, and they're gonna go.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, then I misread that. The entire time I was watching the movie, I thought he thought she was dead, and that's what Nebula was telling him. But I guess then what was Nebula like holding back? That just she knew
I think
she was helping.
Yeah, I think he obviously just wants to find her and fall back in love, and Nebula wasn't even telling him she was in contact with her.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. So they meet up with Gamora and the Ravagers, and that's when Gamora tells them, I think, about Orgosphere, which is basically like where Rocket's like, what is it, like Rocket's documentation or Rocket's files are basically stored.
Files of how he was created.
They're hoping it will tell them how to like override the kill switch, and that's when maybe my favorite fight scene in the whole MCU takes place.
Really?
Or one of them. Just the one where they're fighting all the Orgosphere
guards. Oh, the big one.
Bro, they're getting smacked down. And again, just right back to like Mantis's acting. I thought that scene we were gonna lose Drax for sure. This movie blew balls get out of us.
Yeah.
Like he got popped in the chest and he
like
was
holes
down.
in him.
Dude, he got rocked. He got rocked.
Sorry, just like skipping ahead like 3 minutes. I loved like when he's like, maybe if I can talk to them, we'll be able to get them to stop fighting or something. And then she connects him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not that stupid." Because I was about to be like, "Oh, not this. Like this is about to be dumb." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not that."
Can we just
Yeah.
reverse a bit as well, where Mantis made that security guard fall in love with Drax?
That was so good. That was so
It was
good.
just,
So
it's
funny.
just, I don't know, man. It's just
It makes it
everything.
even better because like that was the first time we saw it, but Drax is like, I hate when you do that. Which
Yeah.
Clearly she does it all the
it's like
time.
This is
it's like a
interesting
recurring
actually,
thing.
because there was one bit when they get to what's it called? The place. What's it called?
Orgosphere.
There was one bit,
Orgo
and it was
Corp.
probably the joke that least landed for me. It did make me cringe quite a lot. It was basically when they're like, they get caught by the weird bubble security guards, and they're in the boiler suits, and they're like, and then Mantis like screams and calls him a dickhead. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was out of that bit. That was like,
I don't
awful,
remember
in my
that
opinion.
enough, but maybe.
But that
I thought
it
you
was
were
like
about to
terrible.
call out the
However,
part where when Nathan Fillion who plays Master Karja, came in and he was like, "Yeah, we got one of those guys too." That like the boss.
No.
That was
Okay.
funny.
That was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
No, this is what I'm saying. So they're in the boiler suits. They're pretending whatever. They're the engineers. They've just come in to steal the hole, whatever. He comes in and they're like, "Yeah, we're engineers," and it's like, let's just take it. I hated that bit. However,
Okay, that's fair.
30 seconds later, when he's like, "We've got one of these guys too," and he just points to this weird looking geezer behind him.
It's
and
like
he's
his nephew or something.
Yeah,
It's
that
like-
was, yeah. And then that recurring joke happened at least 2 or 3 times with him. That was so.
and
It
that's
went
like
from my
as,
least favorite scene to one of my favorite scenes in basically a minute.
that's
I think
like
that was
as the suits are, they like ejected the suits and they're floating off in the background.
Yeah,
and at first they
just
don't really.
distracting him.
I don't think they really comment on it at first, and I just see him in the background. And I started buying it.
That was
that was
funny.
funny.
That was
Good
good.
scene.
So then moving on, they at the end of the scene where they're on Orgosphere, they come to a conclusion that one of the high evolutionaries' doctors may have an
Who's that
override
actor?
code or something. I don't know.
Saved it in his head. I've seen
Yeah,
that guy
he
before.
saved it in his head. So that's when they decide to visit Counter Earth. And before they get to Counter Earth,
Oh my
there's like
god,
yeah, we'll talk about it.
so good.
But before they get to Counter Earth, there's a really like, I don't even know if I would call it emotional, but there's a really nice scene, or not even nice, it's kind of heartbreaking, between Gamora and Pratt, or Gamora and Peter, where Gamora is basically like, stop trying to, turn me into who I used to be. Like, that's not me. I don't remember that person at all.
It was really great.
It was really just a nice scene because you kind of expected it to happen. I didn't think, like, when Gamora stepped into the scene, I didn't think it was going to be like a 2 conversations and then she like falls for Peter. I like that, like the whole movie is like,
that would have been dumb.
I
If
was
at the
gonna
end-
say,
if at the end she'd have been like, I realize now, it was like, come on.
No,
I'm
I like
really
that.
happy they didn't get together.
No,
I
no,
think that
same,
made it
same,
so much
same.
better.
Yeah, I think them not getting together also makes like Peter's decision at the end of the movie to leave the Guardians and go to his grandpa just a lot easier, obviously.
And this is why I'm very much going to tweet, and strictly for clicks later, that Gamora and Quill have the same energy as the ending of La La Land. I'm just that's going to be my tweet.
Yeah,
But better.
But better. Wow. But better.
It's not better. I mean,
I get where you're going, but Gamora didn't have like, she wasn't feeling like Emma Stone. She wasn't.
Yeah,
like, I wish I could
No,
be with him.
obviously.
yeah, she was not in love with.
But yeah, that'll be a good click
that
tweet.
person.
That actor is in Crazy Rich Asians. That's where I knew him from.
That's what it's stuff from.
Yeah. So let's talk about Counter Earth, Seth, because your favorite scene in the MCU is there.
Did you laugh?
I did.
I still laughed. laughed.
I was like, I said to one, I was like, I've seen this. When this trailer first came out, I replayed this shit like 30 times. I'm not gonna laugh. I did laugh.
Yeah.
It's not even just that scene. It's just so fucking weird how they've got these things, these like live, like these human shaped animals walking around in suits, and they're like driving past them. Someone's getting mugged, and like an owl is beating up a badger with a baseball bat, and they're wearing. It's just so weird, and they've got their own language that it just works for me, because this is where James Gunn's artistic style that we don't get from the usual MCU just works tenfold, because it's original, it's creative, it's bizarre, and there wasn't many points during the New World I wasn't laughing. Like, for example, when Drax was even on the sofa, and he was like, "Why can't he have multi purposes?" When he's like keeps getting told off for lying down.
Yeah,
So funny, and all that sequence just was brilliant, because I love seeing weird shit, and that you're not going to get much weirder than that, are you? Let's be fair.
No, like the
You know what I mean?
creativity was off the charts. Like so many unique different costume designs, production designs, character designs, creature designs. Like every single minute of this movie, you're introduced to some new weird, bizarre creature. That's what I was saying in the spoiler-free part. Like this movie retroactively makes so many other Marvel movies like a tier down for me because they clearly can do it. They were so creative in this movie. Everything was so much care into it.
Well, Tyler, what I was going to ask you actually, because correct if I'm wrong, George and Cam, you haven't seen Dungeons and Dragons yet, have you?
No.
So,
No, sorry.
Tyler, this is very comparable to what I said about Dungeons and Dragons in that every 5 minutes I was waiting to see another weird creature and be entertained by something completely bizarre because the creativity is just off the charts. I think it's very comparable to Dungeons and Dragons in the way that I kind of felt about the film throughout.
Definitely.
Where I was just sort of waiting for something.
Right. With how many weird creatures were in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you so easily could have just been like, all right, this world's just going to have all these weird looking people, just copy and paste a bunch of them in here. But he didn't. They literally just like uniquely designed every single one.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely agree.
Yeah. So, kind of moving on to like maybe like the third act of the
When they're
movies.
on Counter
Or
Earth.
not the third act of the movie, but they're on Counter Earth, and basically Adam and his mom. What was his mom's name again?
Aisha, right?
Aisha.
That didn't look like his mom. That was weird.
Well,
Yeah.
I
if you
know, I
remember-
get it, but
Yeah,
like
okay,
it was
okay.
like there was like 5 years between them or some shit. You know what I mean? It just looked weird.
well, they
Yeah, but
sped
they-
up his growth.
I know.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just
Explain
looked
that.
weird.
In
All
real
right,
life,
I'm
they're 18 months apart.
Oh,
Real
shit,
life
really?
they are?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought Elizabeth Debicki was older, to be honest. But yeah, Adam Warlock's 30 and she's 32.
Oh
Wow.
God.
Wow,
All right.
incredible.
Well, anyways, Adam and his mom basically
Stirring.
intercept a Ravager that Adam kills, and they tell Adam and his mom that they're on Counter Earth. So they go and intercept them, and that's kind of where the third act maybe sort of begins. So they get to Counter Earth. Quill, Nebula, and Groot get to the High Evolutionary ship. Drax, Mantis, and Gamora stay with Rocket. And then Quill and Groot go on their own, and they actually board the High Evolutionary ship.
Because you can't bring weapons.
Yeah,
And then there's like
can't
that
bring weapons.
weird pig soldier. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is that?
See,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
what
that's-
they called it something like those
It
are
was
like
yeah. They mentioned it. I can't remember what it was. But
I
it was-
can't remember.
I might try and find it. Carry on.
No, so and
You're
then
a pig
Mantis,
soldier.
yeah, and then Mantis and Drax also end up on the High Evolutionary ship, and that just leaves Gamora
No.
with Rocket, and then she's attacked by the pig guy. No.
Yeah. Nebula also with Drax and
Oh, okay. Right.
and
Tam, it's just called War Pig,
Right.
apparently.
War Pig.
That's
No,
what-
but there's something they call
I'm sure
all of
someone
those
said
creatures
something
that are
else.
it's literally just like weird fucked up creature thing basically,
Yeah.
but it's a different term for that. Like,
Just sorry, before I forget, I have to mention this. Do you know when they're obviously we'll get onto this, I won't explain too much, when they're letting kind of the animals out of the cages, like a Joan of Arc kind of situation.
mhm.
And Mantis lets that fucking thing out.
Yeah.
I was
So
laughing
funny.
so because
Like-
this thing just comes out and it's like, what the
She's
fuck
like,
is
oh,
that?
I was scared of the thing behind you.
Yeah.
This like gloop thing.
You know, in any other Marvel film, if he said that kind of joke, it wouldn't
Oh,
work.
it would not.
It wouldn't work. It just works in this. That's the thing. That was great.
Yeah, and then rest in peace, pig guy, because Adam
Pig
kills
guy.
him.
Yeah, he ruins it.
Like that's your boy. Why are you killing him like that?
Uh,
But he's going to look for Rocket, and then somehow Gamora doesn't stop him, but just buys time against him.
Yeah,
Which
she
gives,
runs under the ship.
Yeah, which gives Quill and Groot enough time to get the Doctor and I guess extract his memory. And that's kind of where the third act begins, because that's when
This-
Rocket starts. Go.
No, this is just where like I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is where it starts to become this movie might be one of the best in the MCU. Like
of all
when
time.
yeah. It's actually my fourth highest superhero movie because it's above
Jesus
Infinity War,
Christ.
whatever. But when fucking Groot comes out and has all those guns on him because he's
Yeah,
just
that
a
was
fucking
cool.
tree
Yeah.
thing, that's where
That
I
was
was like,
sick.
holy shit. Also, when he becomes a kaiju, when they're like, go kaiju mode, and he just grows this thing. Me dying laughing.
Which
Did
is
we speak
hilarious because
about-
he like in the first scene,
Huh?
Adam Warlock like tears him apart, and he's just a head with like 4 little
Wait,
stick
that-
legs.
Didn't that remind you? And there was another scene, you know, when you first got introduced to the rabbit in Floor, whatever it was. It reminded me of the Toy Story scene
Yeah.
when he's.
Oh
in Sid.
yeah,
I saw
with the
tweets
doll's
after, and I
head.
said this to Anna, like the little baby's doll head. With the, like,
Yeah.
little, it reminded me of that so much. That scene
Yeah.
was amazing, by the
And
way.
then-
When he ripped his face off, that was
Also,
fantastic.
speaking of like the comedy in this movie, we didn't even touch on Cosmo the dog. The entire movie just trying to get
Felt so bad.
whatever his name is to just say
Kraglin, to
you're
say
a
good
good
dog.
Kraglin. Just say good dog. That killed me every time.
I will say, the voice kind of irritates me after a while of the dog.
I didn't like that
No.
as Russian. It makes sense, but I didn't like it.
Oh,
It
it's
makes
Maria
sense.
Bakalova.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Maria
it makes
Bakalova.
Great.
sense.
She's
it
incredible.
just not because it's Russian. It just kind of annoys me after a while. It just kind of gets to
It
me.
didn't
I'm
fit the
like-
dog to me.
yeah,
I loved.
Yeah, but
love
nothing
Maria
fits in this
Bakalova.
film, though, does it? That's,
I mean, she can
Yeah,
do an
it's
American
weird,
accent
though.
though, so like pretty
Yeah,
much
but
everyone
it's
else
meant
is
to
too
be
bad, I
really.
think.
She got
Russian
a
dog who
pick.
comes from space.
Freshman.
Who got sent
Either
to
way.
space.
Doesn't matter.
Either way,
I like it.
another moment, just kind of moving forward with the plot. Another moment where like my theater, I wouldn't say like erupted in applause, but they definitely like let out like claps and shit. Is when the scene where Rocket flatlines. That's obviously the scene where you see Quill in the trailer like giving that massive scream, and then you see Rocket and he meets up with Lila Teeth or
We should-
Teeth. Yeah.
Prior to this, and I don't remember when, is the scene where he rips off. He like attack the High Evolutionary shoots and kills all of his friends.
That was
Lila,
so
Teeth.
sad, man.
That was one of the best scenes in the movie. And
Yeah.
That was
maybe,
no.
Maybe that's
That was one of
where
the
it-
best scenes of the MCU.
That's
maybe
true.
even the best. Scene of
maybe
the
that's
MCU.
when it turns from like, holy shit, this could be a 5 out of 5 movie, because that was
Well,
it-
Cam, I don't know about you, but like for me, you know, when we always speak, we have this conversation every podcast, and it's like the MCU goes dark and stuff. And I wouldn't say it was dark, but for the MCU, that was probably the most emotionally invested I've been.
Even
into
Adam's
a character.
introduction was like one of the darkest and most brutal scenes in the MCU.
Yeah, and
True.
like, you know, at the end when they pull off his obviously face and he's all scratched off,
Yeah,
whatever.
that
It's
was
like that, you know, for the MCU, I was
which I
kind
like
of
that, because like when when younger Rocket is ripping his face off, I was like, oh, that's why he's got like the blue
the thing on,
you know,
Yeah.
head, like he scratched off all his hair or whatever, you know, and then
Yeah.
you know
But he
that's what
actually
he's
fucking-
become. And then which
Oh,
we
and
can talk
another-
about later, but
Yeah, and then another just like brutal and like just emotionally damaging scene is the scene where, and I'm going to whisper this because Victoria's in the other room, so I don't want her to hear any of this, is the scene where Lila gets shot and then the
Mhm.
other two die as well, and Rocket just lets out that one scream. I was tearing up at that.
I think I'd let tears the whole
because
fucking scene.
the entire scream, it was like the shot was you're looking at it from like the side, so it's just Rocket standing and then Lila on the floor, and that's the only thing you're looking at, and you just see Rocket let out this massive scream. And I was like, that stuff.
it's one of those things where like if these were 4 people, I probably would have been less devastated. You can't.
You
be
always
throwing
are with animals, aren't you?
You can't
Yeah.
be throwing baby animals
Right, like
at me.
when we first
Like
get introduced
baby
to young
disabled
baby
animals.
Rocket, like when he goes in there and he's like, it hurts, and you're like,
puppy
God.
dog face and like
Yeah.
and he's like saying it hurts. Like that entire time, I was like, yeah, this just broke my heart.
It's so
This
sad.
It's such low hanging fruit, but
Yeah.
I grabbed that shit, snatch it up.
Yeah, but again,
I don't
Rock,
think it is low hanging fruit.
No, I'm just saying using animals versus people is
True. Like,
gonna
I just-
manipulate me more.
Yeah, I
it's
get you.
warranted.
Yeah.
So Rocket basically nearly dies, and he kind of sees Lila and the other two, Teefs and Floors,
Ripped
Or
straight
just
from
floor.
Deadpool 2.
right from Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Copied that scene where she's like, it's not time yet. You have stuff
Yeah.
to accomplish.
Oh
still."
yeah.
But
copied right
that's
from
the
Deadpool
scene
2.
I was talking about. Like when she like
Right.
finally says like, but not now. Like it's not your time. My theater
I
like
was
started
like,
clapping.
I was
Yeah,
like,
my theater was super excited, and then
I
obviously
knew he wasn't gonna die, so I was like,
right.
Yeah.
It's
what's
just
gonna
lazy
happen
writing. It's a
here?
copy and
Yeah.
paste.
Yeah. I didn't think he was gonna die, but I did in the moment. I wasn't even thinking of Deadpool 2. So like in the moment, I was
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
that's-
think of
I was
that.
like, that's a great scene right there. That's
I haven't
fantastic.
watched that movie in a long time. to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you.
so they revive him. Yay. Then we cut to, is the next scene where we go to Mantis, Nebula, and Drax, and that's when they start to like see all the children on the high evolutionary ship. So Mantis,
he just kills everyone on Counter Earth too. Like,
yeah, he also
blows up Counter Earth. That shit's gone.
And then they're in like no atmosphere. They've got no oxygen, and then Drax has to break into the ship, and then they find the kids. Is that always something before that?
It was a little earlier. It's before. That's before Quill and Groot like blow up the ship and everything. That's way earlier.
Yeah.
They're on the ship, and then I saw this a week ago. I wish I got to see it again before doing this. I would have. Yeah. But they're on the ship, and this is when we get a really great, like what we were talking about last week of just like James Gunn gives every character in this movie a good moment, like Drax being a dad, like Mantis, touching the whatever that Rathtar or whatever the fuck that thing is.
That was cool.
Which, by the way, that's what I was talking about. Like she touches it and it looks like she's touching it. She's touching something,
Whereas
it looks
Janet Van Dyne
Janet touching the thing,
which was
so bad,
the last MCU film.
Terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like crazy the difference between the two in those two scenes alone.
And I'm also, just to track back, I'm happy you mentioned Drax being a dad. That like little like short speech that Mantis gives where she's like, you were never meant to be a destroyer, you were meant to be a dad. I was like, come on.
Yeah, but
just
before that then, or was that at the end?
That was when like they see the kids in the prison and Drax is like
just after that.
Yeah, like Drax is just trying to like make them happy or something.
Do you know before that when she's speaking to Nebula and she's like basically giving her the talk, and then she calls Drax stupid, and then she mind erases him.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Drax is so fucking funny, man. Honestly.
So Rocket is revived and he kind of makes his way to and this is where we kind of get him and the High Evolutionary reuniting. Rocket sees a litter of baby raccoons. But then the High Evolutionary, at this point, he's out of his mind. Like he wants Rocket so goddamn badly.
You're missing the No Sleep Till Brooklyn hasn't what happened before this.
Oh, you're so right.
You're missing that because this is when they're escaping. So you got to talk No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
That was the best little drop of a song. I can't believe I like just glazed over that. That was another moment. And Seth, I'm so surprised your theater wasn't like animated. My theater was. I expect so.
I'm surprised because this is like they usually do it with normal MCU films, not great ones. Do you know what I mean?
I'm curious. So, like we said, we're recording this segment of the podcast on a Thursday. So in New York, this is technically opening night. There were a few screenings last night that I know people went
really?
to. Tonight is technically opening night in New York. So I am so curious at like how the crowd is going to be reacting to this movie compared to like a week ago. But that No Sleep Till Brooklyn scene was fucking incredible.
So great, man.
Wait, sorry, which scene was this? Remind me of the scene.
Yeah, go for it.
Like No Sleep Till Brooklyn scene.
Yeah,
they got on the ship. They basically all three ships crash landed onto the High Evolutionary ship. Then they are trying to find Drax, Nebula, and Mantis. They're in like the main hull of the ship, whatever you want to call it. They've landed there, and then fucking Mantis comes through on whatever those big animals that eat batteries are, and then they're like, okay, we're good, let's go. And that's when Rocket's like, I'm done running, the trailer moment.
I think that was my favorite scene of the film. What you think about it? I think
it you know what's great about this movie and the Guardians in general is if you watch the original Suicide Squad, there's so many horrible needle drops, man. That thing is that thing is like a music video. The needle drops are so bad. But in this one, it's like they do the little things to make it seem like every time they get in the ship, they press play on the, like, it's like you're driving. They press play on the whatever, and that's when the needle drops.
The headphones
or,
and stuff like
yeah,
that.
Quill's putting headphones in. It's like it has some sort of purpose. And then, it breaks into one of the best MCU fights, and shockingly, one of the only slow-mo.
I love the walk. It was
just
nice,
any walk you get with the whole squad. James Gunn has perfected that because he does it so well in the Suicide Squad as well.
Even if he hadn't, I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks great, but like, it's the fact that if they don't like any other MCU, it's the fact that he's made you care about these characters so much through the past previous two films. It's just completely different. It's a completely different feeling. I loved the walking scene. It was really, really nice.
There's also, I saw, because a lot of people saw it last week as well. So like all throughout this week, a lot of people were tweeting like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has one of my favorite like MCU battle scenes. And the reason I love that is because like I don't know which one they're talking about. Like three of them could easily be my favorite MCU battle scene.
Probably all. Definitely.
Yeah. But
no, you're good. Go. No, I've been talking. You're good.
I was just going to say, I was going to continue the plot. So if you have something to say about what we're talking about, say.
Well, I mentioned this like in my little notes I took after the movie. This works. This is so every MCU movie, if you want to pull it back, like has a giant CGI battle, or at least now CGI fight at the end. Wakanda Forever has that, where all of the Wakandans are fighting are they Atlanteans? I think they are. Atlanteans. And I don't think it works as well in that, because then you have the Black Panther off fighting Namor. In this, you just have the Guardians fighting a shit ton of people and just ripping through them. And you care about these characters. Or you have off on nowhere, finally we get Kraglin telling Cosmo the dog, or the space dog, that she's a good dog because she just slams two walls together.
That was a cool moment.
This is no different in the sense that it's a CGI battle at the end. And I get it if that's not your thing, but it's because you care about these characters, and it's not a bunch of like random Wakandans versus random Atlanteans. It's five main
people you spent hours with.
Exactly. 6 Guardians that you love just ripping people apart, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it work so well.
That's what makes all of it work so well. Even the bad jokes work so well because you care about the characters. That's it.
Second best friend. So this leads to, again, I mentioned it earlier, the scene with Rocket and Groot. That is, it's a callback to Guardians 1 when they're in the prison and like Rocket's on Groot's shoulder. And I fucking love that. And then before that, I ate that shit completely up. But before that, Rocket sees that he is a raccoon. Like the entire Guardians trilogy, he was like, no, I don't know what I am. It's not a fucking raccoon. Stop calling me a raccoon. Sees that he's a raccoon. And then obviously that sets up that final just like beat drop on Rocket raccoon and pops one into the High Evolutionary's chest.
So good.
Sick.
So good.
My theater lost it. So dope.
And it's such a stupid line, but for 3.5 movies, we'll call it, if you want to include Infinity War and Endgame, he's been saying, I'm not a raccoon. Stop calling me that. Like for 3.5 movies, you're dealing with that. And all of a sudden he's kind of accepted, I'm a fucking raccoon or whatever, and I've been made into this. And it's such a stupid thing to pull because it is like MCU, but God, it works so well in this thing.
What was his name again? The guy who played the High Evolutionary? What was his name?
Chukwudi.
Yeah, man. Really liked him.
Yeah, so
really liked him.
He's obviously left to die, and this kind of gets into the scene. So Cosmo the dog is like trying to hold the ships together, but Quill didn't make it. So he has to like propel himself across 200 yards of space or however fucking long it is.
Yeah,
I wish he died. I'm just going to start there.
I did nearly laugh, by the way, because his face did go very puffy.
Yeah, his face got puffy, but like I
was like half crying, half laughing. It was a bit weird.
And I texted Tyler and Cam. Sorry, Seth, but you hadn't seen the movie, so I texted Tyler and Cam, and I was like, I wish someone died. Like I really do. I think that would have not like cemented this as like the most emotional MCU movie, because I still think it probably is the most emotional MCU movie, but I don't know. Every trailer, everyone was like, Rocket's dead, Rocket's dead, Rocket's dead. I think that would have just been a really like, subversion of expectations if Rocket didn't die and someone else died, and like we're left to, be heartbroken with Rocket instead of for Rocket. I don't know. Tyler, I know you're against the non-death scene. You didn't like it too much.
So here's my two takes. One, Rocket Raccoon, I wish he would have died later, because like if you're gonna set up the whole like it's not your time, I'll still be here when you're done with what you need to accomplish. Like he accomplished what he needs to accomplish. Like his character arc's done. Like they're just gonna make him be part of the Guardians forever or whatever. That's fine. I wish he would have died at the end. And then Chris Pratt, I wish you, like I texted I think earlier today to you guys. I was like, I wish he would have, like, I'm fine with him surviving, but I wish he would have like made the leap and there wasn't the whole face disfiguration, because that just doesn't make sense. And then but what I hated is I love that he went home to his grandpa. Hated Star-Lord will return. Wish it would have just left it there. No more Star-Lord.
No, they always do this. They always do that though. It's
no. I'm saying he shouldn't ever be back in the MCU. I'm saying he should never show his face again.
I think while I don't necessarily agree, or while I don't necessarily disagree with like that, I would like it if he were coming up with like I think he's gonna be a main character in like Kang Dynasty and such, because he's now on Earth. He's kind of like be with the Avengers. I think that's more grand scope things. Like I understand if this were not a 31 or 32 movie saga or wherever the hell we're at now, they probably could have done it that way. I just think they're also probably gonna. And you know what? I bet you Guardians 4 sucks, because it's not gonna be James Gunn.
I bet they're gonna make him get back with Gamora or something too. And James Gunn will be
no. It's gonna be that new team.
No, it's that team again.
I take that back. Yeah. They could make them get back together, because again, it's not going to be James Gunn, and it could suck.
That won't happen, surely.
I think it's going to be the new team. That's what they set up at the end. It's that new team.
The run at the end with the post credit. Yeah,
I saw.
Hey, Carmi, watch the post credit. Proud of me.
I saw.
I'm out. Sorry. Soups tweeted. I love Soups. Soups tweeted, "You have to stay for both." You didn't have to stay for both.
You did not have to stay for
both.
You did not have to stay for both. We didn't have to stay for any of them.
Since we're just on that real quick, so like that final one was like when they're like, someone's mowing the lawn. Who is it that's mowing the lawn? Like the son, and he's like, why is he, or like why doesn't he go do it or something, or like who's like in. There's someone that they never show his face. I thought for sure, I was like holding my breath. I'm like, who's James Gunn about to cast for this random like family member of Peter Quill?
No,
like,
I think the joke was that it had a newspaper that Kevin Bacon was kidnapped by aliens.
That was
Kevin Bacon. That's what I mentioned. Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
And I haven't done like my full deep dive into who it could be or whatever. Maybe they were talking about some crazy thing. But I think it was only to use that Star-Lord will return.
Yeah,
I think
I hated those end credit scenes were just useless.
I would have been fine if they pulled like an end game where there wasn't an end credit scene. Like I know they probably saved that for like, obviously they only did it with Endgame, so they're saving it for the big movies. But like this is a movie where I think that would have been warranted.
Yeah,
like ended with
they had
like
5 for Volume 2. Yeah, they had 5 post-credit scenes. If you remember.
Jesus. Yeah, if the movie had ended, cut to black, and then it just said like the Guardians of the Galaxy will return, I would have been like sick.
I think it would have been even sicker if they did Rocket Raccoon will return. That would have been so poetic.
I didn't mind the first one. I guess
no, the first one I think was good because you see Rocket as like, I think I mean like I'm not mad I watched either of them. I'm just saying you don't really have to stay for either.
One.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely did not have to
stay. Because the credits of Marvel films are very long. There's a lot.
I went pee in between. It was perfect timing. Timing. I went pee in between the 2 post-credit scenes.
I needed to piss about 2 hours of this film, by the way.
At like the start of the opening credit, they had like all the pictures from like all from the
that
first
was great.
2 movies.
It was like a send off of Endgame. Like Endgame has the signatures, which is one of the best endings. But this one had the good like pictures, like you mentioned, of every movie.
I liked it a lot. I liked it a chunk.
I'm glad no one died. I'll say it. I think I
don't think anyone's in the minority on this side. I've seen a lot of people say I wish someone died. I see a lot of people saying I'm happy no one died.
Yeah, I think they found I do agree. I wish he would have just made the leap, other than the fact that I think he did the like most James Gunn thing and had him be the Sistine Chapel or whatever that God touching man or whatever that drawing is. I'm not I should know,
Right.
considering I went to a Catholic high school. I don't. It's fine. I just think I think they found a creative way to send everyone off without killing them. I think one of the best moments in this movie was the Gamora walking past and saying, "I bet we were fun." That was really that was way better than them getting back together.
Yeah.
I know you guys agree with that, but
that is one thing I'm very happy about that they did not get that it would have just felt too easy because when you think about it, the events of this movie happened within the span of 2 days.
It would have been stupid, man. Because other films would have done that. Another MCU film would have done that. I can guarantee.
I agree.
That would have been. I'm actually with Cam. I'm actually kind of glad that no one died. To be fair, I quite liked it.
And
apart from the fact, I do wish you made the leap. That was a bit weird.
I think again, I kind of from everything I read assumed that the only person that would probably go on from movie to movie is Chris Pratt, just because he's the biggest name, obviously, and the biggest character. So I don't know. I kind of assumed he.
I just think people multiverse of madness themselves. I saw the Josiahs did a TikTok of who's gonna die, and they're like, I think these 4 people are gonna die.
Yeah.
And I think these 5. I think it's same with multiverse of madness. Everyone thought there was gonna be a ton of cameos in that one. Everyone thought there was gonna be a ton of deaths in this one. Which, to their credit, the trailers made me believe that. But
I did. I did that for No Way Home. I posted a video who do I think is going to die, and that to this day is one of my best performing TikToks.
Yeah, because it was No Way Home.
In that video, I said Toby and Andrew are dying.
Both of them, man.
I said both of them are getting kicked.
See, and that's no offense. That's a stupid guess.
Dumb guess. So
that's
dumb.
A stupid guess.
And okay, I justified it. I was like, yeah, it's their time, one last send off, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we want to touch on the Guardians?
Rip Drax. I miss that guy. He's best character MCU
He's not coming back. Yeah,
I know he's not. He's the best character the MCU has ever had.
So, did we mention? I don't think we mentioned first F-bomb in the MCU.
Oh yeah,
that was so funny. That was such a good
so well.
I'm very happy.
Come on, boys.
You didn't like it?
Doing it? No.
No, that was funny. It was Chris Pratt's delivery. It just made me laugh.
No, that was perfect.
That's kind of like the Drax throwing the ball at it. I think. I knew it was coming, and it still made me laugh.
Funny. Drax is too funny.
But I will say, and I think it's just a recurring thing that they always say frickin'. In Guardians 2, when he said we're the Guardians Guardians of the freaking galaxy, except he didn't say frickin' whatever. I would have preferred if they had one F-bomb to use, if they made Rocket at the end say we're the Guardians of the fucking galaxy or something. I think that would have been so damn good. But they probably
didn't at the end of Guardians 1, Peter said we're the Guardians of the galaxy, bitch. When they're holding the Infinity Stone all together.
My second favorite scene in the MCU. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
what's your first favorite scene in the MCU?
Thor entering Wakanda. I said I literally, we just had a top 10 scenes.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was number 3.
When you say a Marvel thing, I just kind of switch off a little bit.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Unless it's Guardians from now on.
Yeah. I listen to everything you say about
If Guardians 3 was in black and white, would it be a 5 out of 5?
No, it'd probably be worse.
Stop.
You don't get as much
the colors, man.
Weird characters. The artistic style of it is probably one of the best things about it. Black and white Guardians would be fucking shit.
All right, we will wrap up our Guardians of the Galaxy 3 spoiler filled review here.
You should say where you're headed to now, because it fits in with what we're talking about right now.
Oh yeah, I am off to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I texted Emma during this and said we should go see it tonight.
Go. I'm very.
I got a maybe. Let's see what the AMC is up to.
She didn't go with you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's all wave goodbye to Seth for the remainder of the episode. It was nice having you. And if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 by the time this episode drops, drop us a comment and let us know, where does it rank on your MCU? Is it in your top 5, 10, 15? Do you fucking hate it? Do you love it? Let us know. Seth, we love you. We will see you next week. Cam and Tyler, I'm going to keep talking to you in 3 days.
Yep.
Well,
peace.
Best soundtrack of the trilogy.
All right, we are back. Seth, goodbye. Have a fantastic day. If you're enjoying this episode so far, make sure to hit that like button on YouTube, or if you have Spotify or Apple, make sure you're giving us a rating. It really helps us out. We just crossed 1,000 ratings on Spotify. We've crossed 100, I believe, on Apple. We are pushing 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. So help us get to that mark. Obviously, everyone's support here means the fucking world to us. We're going to move on. And I know usually we do like our trailers first and then we get into the news, but we want to touch on the writer's strike. I don't know how much we have to say about it, but I know a lot of people have been asking us to talk about it, or at least just to give an update on what exactly it is, what exactly is happening. So we're going to run through this. Everything I'm about to say is not my own original thought. I basically just kind of took a news article that explained it way better than I ever could and wrote it down. So the Writers Guild of America last Tuesday, May 2nd, unanimously voted to call a strike. This is going to affect a lot of the nightly shows, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Rogen. SNL has been delayed indefinitely. Cobra Kai has also halted writing. So in short, around 12,000 film and television writers represented by the Writers Guild of America are striking after failing to reach an agreement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers is an association that represents a huge production companies such as the WGA, like Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Disney, Discovery, NBC. So basically, some of their demands are including higher minimum compensation and addressing the use of mini rooms, which is a practice where streamers will shrink the number of writers that would typically be in a writer's room and hire them for short-term work, resulting in lower wages and shorter contracts. One anonymous source says, basically, in short, there's too much work and not enough pay. Gentlemen, is there anything we want to touch on this? Tyler, I know you've tweeted a couple of times about it, I think so.
Another one was like, I think this is recently, like yesterday or whatever, the Duffer Brothers came out in support of the strike as well and said like Stranger Things being held off, which like it's weird because like obviously all things being written are important, but I feel like that's like on the bigger scale where people are like, shit, like this, like let's really get this thing going, because like I really want Stranger Things season 5 because it took us such a long gap last time, and they're like, we don't care, we'll take an even longer gap, like we'll wait till these kids are 35 years old before we're gonna make them be seniors in high school. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's not good. Like the strike isn't good for either sides. Like obviously, like I support the writers and I hope they get what they want and they get their higher wages, because like this isn't even a flex, but I think all three of us on this call make substantially more money than writers, and that's not because we're loaded and wealthy. That's because writers is one of like the lowest paying professions in the world, basically. Like they make just barely any money. Like they came out that the guy who wrote The Bear, which won so many Oscars or Emmys last year and awards last year, said basically like he had a negative bank account. He basically like had to dive like into negative balance just to buy like a bow tie to be able to go to the award ceremony. So like writers really don't make much money at all, and beyond that they don't get consistent streams of income. So it's just like a very tough career. So and the thing is, like, none of these would be possible without writers. Like so many times, like what's the biggest complaint you have about a movie or a show? It's like the writing just sucked, and it's like you need good writers and writers that are working effectively in the writers' rooms for TV shows, or just like writers in general for movies. So it sucks for both sides, because obviously they're not getting paid right now and they can't work right now. And like literally when you're during a strike, you can't like just be like, well, I'm just not going to strike and I'm going to go write on the side, because then you get like banned from the Writers Guild and stuff. So like the writers not going to be able to get paid until this gets done. Movie side, nothing's going to get made. And at the end of the day, they just need to come to agreement. And I think the big thing is, like, obviously the world's just changed so much with streaming services, and I don't think their contracts and bargaining agreements have caught up to the real world in terms of what is currently going on. Because I think probably all the writing contracts right now are dealing with, you write something and then you get paid extra for every time it's like played on television. But like, what about streaming services and all that? So there's just a lot that have to go through. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but yeah. Hopefully it gets done soon.
There's a writer on TikTok, and I see his videos every.
I think I know who you're talking about. I love that guy.
Yeah. He's written a bunch of he's a comedic writer, I believe. He's like King of the Hill and stuff like that. I think I can't remember exactly, but he always does like, how much does he get in residuals? And it's like 23 cents for an episode or something. Like sometimes bigger shows make like $13 or something, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just absurd that that's like the only bit he's getting in residuals. yeah, completely agree with you, Tyler. Just writing's one of the most important parts of a movie, and it's absurd how little undercompensated they are. I think this is a good thing for a lot of reasons. Hopefully that, the writers do get higher pay. And hopefully we don't just overload the market with a bunch of just crappy scripts because writers are just writing because they're not getting paid. They're just writing to get something done. Hopefully this helps in a little bit there. Last time we had a writer's strike, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen happened. So figure it the fuck out, pay these writers. I think they want I saw a tweet. It's like they want like a 5% raise. It's absurd how little they're asking and how hard it is to get that. But yeah, just figure it the fuck out. Also, like Blade's production was halted. I believe Fantastic Four's production's halted. So you fucking Marvel nerds, pay these damn writers. They make trillions of dollars. Just pay these people. Like it can't be that.
And like not only just like Transformers, like think of shows that everyone beloved and then sucked. Like
it's
Lost,
mostly TV
Prison
shows.
Break. Like think of all these shows that literally like people called like the greatest shows of all time. And they're like, then something randomly happened and it just started sucking. It's like if you look historically, like its timeline overlaps exactly with that. But
it is mostly TV shows that get hit with it,
right? Because movies, like I don't know, like I feel like they have a longer.
Movie scripts obviously don't take as long because they're not as long. Like that completely makes sense. So like you can do you can do production on things, but you can't rewrite things. Like I think Deadpool 3, they said like they're going to continue production, but they're not doing anything with writing, which TV shows, I don't think you really can do that because you're writing as the show goes.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
with
George. The Deadpool thing, I saw that news too, saying like Ryan Reynolds isn't allowed to like make changes to the script now. Why is he not allowed?
I think
he's in the Writers Guild. Once you get in the Writers Guild by getting like basically like a writing credit. Like once you get one of those like on your IMDb, like you're eligible to join the guild, and I think pretty much everyone does. It's like kind of like a status thing to get in. It's like a big career step, like a big milestone to be able to get in. But yeah, like James Gunn, like what I thought was cool is like he paused like writing stuff for his movies, and it's like when you're just like one guy, like because he's like for like Superman, like I know it said like the initial script's done, but he doesn't have the official script done. Like I'm sure like if he wasn't on strike, he'd still be rewriting and touching it up. But like when you're the writer and director, like you could be like, you'd think, oh, there's a strike going on, but like this is all my thing. Like I'm not really counting on anyone else. I can just keep working on this. But he's in solidarity, not writing anything on it and just working on other stuff. Which for him at least, I'm sure he has like 7 billion other things he could be doing. But yeah, it's weird that some productions are going on and basically like I think Rings of Power said they're gonna go on, and like a lot of people are commenting
I saw that. I tweeted about that and I was like, yeah, this is how you want to follow up season 1 or whatever, because they're like, we're gonna continue.
It's like 99.99% of scripts are gonna get rewritten while they're being in production. Unless you're like Aaron Sorkin or something that can like write a script and it's just perfect as is, but like. Yeah, once you finish a script, like there's so much rewrites that go on. So the fact that production's still going on these projects without being allowed to rewrite is definitely like a red flag for whatever productions are going to be coming out that are filmed and finished while this strike is going on. Because I can't remember how long the one from 15 years ago or whatever went, but I don't think this is going to be solved anytime soonish. And like the whole AI thing is just like another curveball thrown in here, and it's a weird time.
Yeah, I saw production on the Batman Part 2 is still going on. Matt Reeves isn't like halting that because of the writer's strike. So that doesn't.
It is interesting, like how they pick and choose, like where they're at in production, and I think just everyone should stop. And then I feel
maybe my assumption is like Matt Reeves isn't making any more changes to the script, and he's like as confident as hell about that. And if he does, he'll just wait and to reshoot those scenes, but by the end of the strike, however long that takes.
But this is my worry in the sense that I feel like, it won't happen with the Batman too, let's be honest. But the only reason I bring up Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is that because that was a movie that Michael Bay didn't halt production for. And he was like, we're just going to make it with the script that ass is. And it was ass. So some of these could be ass. Also, Blade is not getting made. That movie's just never.
Yeah,
that's a cursed movie for sure.
That movie is
man.
Cursed. Every bit of news that comes out about that movie is just as negative as can be.
Yeah,
like it's gonna, but when all said and done, Blade is gonna have a story that rivals The Flash. Like in terms of just like delay. It's like, did you know that this movie started being written in like 2017? It's like 2028 when it comes out.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All right, we'll wrap up the writers.
Get your bag, writers. Go writers.
Facts. Get your bag. Do your thing.
Team writers.
Since we're just here, we'll continue talking about news. We'll just a big switch up the order kind of day. Mamma Mia 3 in early stages of development. Hey, Cam, I know is excited for that.
Wait, Cam, one of your flaming hot takes is that Mamma Mia 2 is better than 1, right? That's a Camism.
I don't think that's like a flaming hot take to say it's a little bit better. I think it's wildly better. I have like Mamma Mia 1 at like a 2 and Mamma Mia 2 at like a 4.5.
A 2? Okay, I haven't seen Mamma Mia since I was a kid because my mom loved it.
I remember
loving it. I've never seen 2.
I have it at a 3. Sorry, you have it at a 3.5. So I have it at a 3, and then I have Mamma Mia 2 at a 4.5. I fucking love Mamma Mia 2.
I still haven't seen Mamma Mia 2.
Here we go.
The soundtrack alone, like I don't see any way I can rewatch and put it like below average score. Like just from ABBA
Mamma
alone.
Mia or the second one.
I haven't seen the second, but the first like I watched so much as a kid. And we just bought a record player that we have in our living room. We got ABBA's Greatest Hits was our first vinyl.
ABBA bags.
ABBA bags.
But Lily James is still fucking good in Mamma Mia. Here we go again. Just like
Lily James is in it.
Yeah, she's Meryl Streep, but like as a kid. It's a prequel almost.
Oh, I gotta watch this movie.
It's so good, man.
I only watched Mamma Mia for the first time like maybe a year ago or so.
Oh wow. Is Mamma Mia 2 just like more ABBA songs or like the ones they didn't have in the first?
I would say it's the same ABBA songs with less what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? He's the fucking biggest actor. He was
the guy in Black Adam. Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. Thank you. Less Pierce Brosnan singing. Pierce Brosnan singing sucks.
Hilarious that Pierce Brosnan, the pull I got for that was the guy in Black Adam.
Black Adam, yeah, of course. God. No, but I do really love Mamma Mia 2, man. And the average for this thing is a 3.5. I am way higher on this than most people, so don't expect a 4.5, folks. It's probably like it's like my Pitch Perfect take of just I love Pitch Perfect.
I love your Pitch Perfect take. I love how you just don't back down from that take.
Pitch Perfect is so good, man.
Pedro Pascal has joined the cast of Gladiator 2, so he is now joining Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Joseph Quinn, and Barry Keoghan. This is ridiculous. It's getting absurd at this point. How many people?
Nuts.
We're just casting everyone at this point. Where's my role? I want to be in this fucking movie. I wish we got, and obviously we know like a very brief plot description, but like I'm very excited for like first images and first looks, which I'm sure we won't get for a very long time since they're still fucking casting for this movie. But I so quickly turned on We Don't Need a Gladiator 2 to this is now one of my most anticipated movies over the next like 2 years. So I am a hypocrite and I'll stand by that. Yeah. And then AMC, the CEO, says they are currently working on a sequel to the Nicole Kidman ad.
They're using the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 bucket funds to make that ad to pay for that.
The
margins are crazy on that thing. They've got to be.
When I saw $50, I was like, this thing better hold 2 large popcorns. And I saw it in person yesterday for the first time. And I swear it's like 2 handfuls worth of popcorn. Bro, it's smaller than that, Tyler.
This was like a large popcorn's like what, $12? I think this is like 15. Like I remember it being so like insignificantly more money. I used to hold all my scorecards for golf.
Tyler, I promise you the Guardians one is so much smaller than it. I saw it in person and maybe this dude just had big hands, but he was literally just holding it with one hand. And I was like, God, that is for $50.
Yeah, and like I tweeted that, and then people were commenting like, people pay a lot of money for collectibles all the time. Like, yeah, and if that's your thing, that's cool. But like, is it cool to have like an AMC Theaters AMC Theaters branded collectible?
They
like,
really
I feel like
They don't make that many, I will say. Like, it's obviously not like rare, but they don't make a ton. They make like one screening's worth or one viewing's worth.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
it.
for my AMC, they still have the Creed 3 bucket. Like, you can get a Creed 3 collector's
I
bucket
believe
because I just think
that.
no
I
one
believe
got
that.
that.
I think the one
I
for
bought-
Thor: Love and Thunder was pretty cool, like the hammer.
The hammer, that's
Yeah,
what-
that
But like
was
the thing
pretty
about
cool.
all those is I feel like none of it, like, because I feel like I would have remembered the price, like if it was egregious, like $50.
Yeah.
None of them were ever anywhere close to that much of a jump scare of a sticker price.
All right.
I'm looking how much it is. You guys continue.
Which one? Wait, which
This
one are you
is-
looking at?
The Thor's hammer was $39.99.
So, why is the Guardians
Why-
one so much more expensive?
I mean, it's $10, but it can't be that much cooler. Like, this is the coolest one they've had, is the Thor's hammer, in my opinion.
I agree.
But
What was
y'all-
that the one? There was one recently where the AMC came out with it. It might have been like Creed 3, or it might have been one. Oh no, it was the Scream, I think, where they said like they weren't allowed to put popcorn in it because like it was deemed like unsafe to like eat out of. So like it was just a major failure by like the AMC team, because I remember it was the Scream ones. It was like you can buy the Scream popcorn bucket, but like they would just give you a bag of popcorn on the side because they're like, yeah, actually, like we got clearance that like you're not supposed to eat out of this bucket.
The
So it's just like for
Batman-
looks.
The Batman cowl that you could get was $26.99. This just doesn't.
See, those are all like reasonable if you wanted to
All right.
like.
The Doctor Strange one was $24.99. These
Okay.
are like reasonable prices.
Yeah.
Like, not reasonable, but
50 is
reasonable
just
for
unreasonable for the
Yeah.
size of that thing.
exactly.
Like that's absurd. But anyways, moving on. Carrie Fisher has received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Shout out Carrie Fisher
Good.
and rest
Good.
easy, obviously. Again, I said this last night and I watched along. I'm surprised people didn't make like a bigger deal out of this. I know like outside of Star Wars, she's not like this massively acclaimed actress, but like the pull she
Star Wars
had.
is pretty big though, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. But
Very
yeah,
big.
I didn't say Star Wars wasn't big. I'm just saying like she is
Yeah.
like one of the biggest parts of arguably the biggest franchise of all time. Like I feel like that should have been a bigger deal. Obviously, Mark Hamill was there and her daughter was there, which was nice. Jake Gyllenhaal, Henry Cavill, and Elza Gonzalez have been cast in Guy Ritchie's new
Isa.
movie. What? Oh,
Isa Gonzalez, but he was just correcting you.
Isa. Oh, my bad. My bad.
I'm like, I hate this cat. Like, because I'm the
know,
only
I
one who
saw
saw The
your tweet.
Covenant, but Jake Gyllenhaal is not. He doesn't have a like. I love him to death. Everyone knows that, but he has no
Yeah.
comedic bones in his body. And Guy Ritchie can't like. Everyone's like, The Covenant was the least Guy Ritchie script, which is true, but it still has so much of that classic like
Yeah.
Jason Statham-esque like deadpan comedy, and he just can't do it. Like I think Henry Cavill might be able to a little. I can't think of any comedic timing for him other than like Enola Holmes or something,
Yeah.
but I can picture him being more charming than like Jake Gyllenhaal. I feel like is like 25% like mentally just completely insane, whereas Henry Cavill I feel like at least is all there. But Jake Gyllenhaal is just a little like deranged, like actually, and I feel like he's getting more deranged as his career's going on. I just feel like Guy Ritchie's not the move for him.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie's also, I know, I feel like we've spoken about this before. I'm just not like the biggest Guy Ritchie person. Like
Me
I
neither.
thought I loved Snatch, and I truly am surprised at how much I liked Snatch. That was a movie I was putting off forever because I didn't want to ruin it for me because I thought I would not like it, but I do love Snatch. But like the rest of his filmography just like never has like truly like hit me or left like an impression on me.
Yeah,
I think they're all fun for the most part. They're all like very like technically sound action films. I love how he can like go back and forth in timelines and then just kind of weave everything together. It's cool, but I don't know. I've never sat down and been like, yeah, I want to watch a Guy Ritchie movie tonight. So
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a bad Guy Ritchie movie, but even Snatch I didn't love. So like I think everything for him just lands like in a 3 to 2.5 star for me. And I don't know, I can't even think of what like his like second biggest movie is. I feel like Snatch is like the clear like number one. Like everyone says like, oh, that's the best Guy Ritchie movie. But other than that, I
Yeah.
feel like everything else is just very mid.
I don't hold on. I'm like, what's that one that literally just came out?
Operation
Maybe-
Fortune,
Oh no.
The
Hold on.
Covenant. I don't know. He has a
Yeah.
crazy
Wrath of
burner.
Man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he comes.
Oh, and
out
he's
so many
worked
movies.
with Cavill before and The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Okay, I've not seen that.
Yeah.
So is this different from the
Arthur.
movie that has Henry Golding in it? That they're like on a ship. Like, is this like his like next movie after that? Like, he just has crazy amounts of projects coming out. I think this is different because Jake Gyllenhaal is cast in this one, and they wrapped filming the one with Henry Cavill that also has Henry Golding, right? The Crazy Rich Asians guy Cam. Is it Henry or Harry Golding? Henry Golding.
Henry. Okay.
But yeah, that's just like Guy Ritchie's, I don't know. Maybe it's like a gambling problem or something, but he's like been collecting bags lately. He's just coming out with new movies all the time.
That'd be so funny if it came out that Guy Ritchie was so deep in debt that he needs to just keep pumping out 2 movies a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it would not be funny at all, but it would be pretty.
I mean, more content for the Ritchie stands.
Yeah, exactly. And then lastly, not even just a bit of news, just something I've been liking to update people on because I feel like a lot of people just don't know when movies are being re-released. Raiders of the Lost Ark is returning to theaters on June 4th and June 7th. I remember when I think I posted like a story like a week into Return of the Jedi being re-released in theaters the 40th anniversary. And I got so many DMs saying, wow, I didn't even know this was a thing. And like, not to like knock those people, but that was pretty big news. But either way, let's.
Right, but if you're not like, if you're not actively looking, like, why would you like? If you're just a casual like moviegoer, that wouldn't even be on your mind to even think like, oh, Return of the Jedi is gonna be in theaters. So yeah, it's cool that they re-release like all the time.
I think I gotta adjust my brain because now I'm just in this brain of where I see like movie news all the time on Twitter, and I see it 50 times, and like most people aren't on that, so I just gotta adjust my brain.
That's
a little
all
bit.
What I forget. Like my Twitter feed, my TikTok For You page, it's all movie shit. Like that's all I'm seeing. So like the news just like.
And now
I'm not like actively seeking out movie news. It just happens to always be in front of my face. So Raiders of the Lost Ark is coming back in theaters June 4th and June 7th. For those of you who did not know, and if you love the movie, go see it.
It's so hard being so deep in film Twitter because like there's so many things. Like I think Barbie is such a huge brand name that when it's closer to the release date, I think people will be amped for it. But like people in my like real world life like have no idea what the Barbie movie is or like anything about it. Like if you told them a Barbie movie's coming out, their mind would immediately go to like some animated kids movie. Whereas like that's why like I'm so confident with the Oppenheimer beating it because like Christopher Nolan does have that mainstream pull where like my dad and like people in like the real world are like, yeah, that new Oppenheimer movie looks like amazing. And like whereas like Barbie, like I feel like everyone I talk to in real life, like even just like my friends my age are like, what? Like that's gonna be stupid. Like I'm not gonna see a Barbie movie. But like we're still 2.5 months away. So I think when it gets closer, maybe hype will change. But that's why I'm personally confident about Oppenheimer beating it. It's just like because like when you take a step outside of film Twitter, like who's the masses knowing? Like Christopher Nolan has the pull with the dads, and like that's the Top Gun Maverick type of box office pull.
And Greta, it's the same thing with like, not to knock Greta Gerwig, obviously her 2 movies, one of them is a 5, the other is a 4.5 for me. But like Greta Gerwig's not like a household name in terms of like
not at all
filmmakers at all. So
yeah,
I'm as confident as you are that Oppenheimer will shit on Barbie's box office numbers.
I'll be seeing Barbie first. I'm a Barbie night.
Stop.
I
am taking off whatever day I get those tickets for. I'm taking off from work and doing a
July
double feature.
21st, right?
The earliest possible time. I want to be like the first in the theater to watch these movies.
I still have my fingers crossed that like some of us will be able to get like early screenings to at least one. Like not even like a crazy early screening, but just like like the GoFobo ones like anyone can get like on the Tuesday of that week. Like I'm hoping at least one we can get early.
Yeah, I'm hoping that like the same IMAX thing that invited us to the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm hoping they do something for one of those movies.
I feel like Oppenheimer, like I feel like they got to be planning something for that, like on a similar scale of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Have to.
Hopefully.
My birthday is July 20th, so AMC, if you're listening, which you are, because AMC is always listening, I'd be available. I'd be free, just if they wanted.
All right, I'll be sure to email AMC for you. I don't know anyone at AMC.
No, they're listening. Don't worry.
Okay, of course.
AMC, like as a whole, is listening right now.
Dune. We'll just kind of toss Dune and the trailer into like our news section, but we got a first trailer for Dune 2, which also gave us our first, like, obviously we got promotional images before the trailer, but it gave us like our first shots of Florence Pugh and Austin Butler, and Timmy riding a sandworm. That was a fantastic trailer. I had that trailer dropped while I was at work, and I was like, I have to react to this because I was gonna watch the trailer immediately, and like if I do that, then I don't like obviously record a reaction like later on because it's not going to be an authentic reaction. So I like found an open conference room and I sat there and I recorded my trailer as fast as possible. And it was so good. I'm so excited for Dune 2. Tyler, I know you said this was like a perfect trailer. It was just incredible.
I thought it was like a perfect trailer. And someone replied to my tweet was like, I don't watch trailers anymore because they show too much, which I don't know if that was a blanket statement before I even watched it. Because I was like, I think it's a perfect example of a trailer that like didn't reveal anything. It's basically just like it's basically a 2-minute hype video of like getting ready to ride the worm for the first time. And everything we've heard about Dune Part 2 is that this is going to be like an all-out epic war style movie. You don't see any like big battles or clashes in the trailer. So like I think literally like that it's going to be similar to the Guardians trailer where like I think everything that happened in that trailer is like the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, and then they're using that worm to get to wherever they need to go and start the war. But I freaking love that trailer, and shout out Seth since he's not here today, but he watched Dune and gave it a 4.5, right? And he loved it.
He liked Dune. I was so happy about it. I was so nervous, like when
I know. I didn't think he would like it, honestly.
I didn't either. I really didn't. I didn't think he was gonna like dislike it, but I did not think he was gonna be a 4.5 out of 5 kind of guy.
Yeah. Hopefully he starts getting on our train of putting mega respect on Denis Villeneuve's name.
I mean,
he said that's his highest rated Denis, and I'm like, there's no way Denis has not made a single 5 out of 5, man. Like in what world?
It's my highest rated too, but like I have it at a 5. So like
well, actually, I think maybe that is my highest rated. No. Sicario is my highest rated.
Wait, actually, sorry, I have Prisoners higher, so that's my number.
Blade Runner 2049 is
such a goated director, man. Just such a goated director.
Yeah, he's so good. It's like unbelievable how good this fucking man is.
Yeah, like just give him a 5-star. Don't be like that guy on Twitter who's like, I've never given a movie 5-star because I stink and you can smell me a mile away.
I hate those people, but I'm curious, and I feel like the answer is obvious, but
I'd
love to see like
on the ReelTok collection.
Which if is Dune 2 or Oppenheimer gonna make more at the box office? I'm curious. I feel like like Oppenheimer's the easy answer, but like I don't know. I feel like Denis has that sort of pull at this point in his career.
Yeah, it's so hard to guess because Christopher Nolan is him at the box office, but he wasn't for Tenet. But like, was that because Christopher Nolan's missing, or is that because of the obviously it's because of the pandemic? But like, how much like will that affect the poll? I don't know. Like I was still thinking it'd be Oppenheimer because I think Oppenheimer will be similar to like because like the demographic Oppenheimer's going for is like the same as Top Gun Maverick and similar to like Avatar: The Way of Water in terms of I don't think it's going to be blowing anyone's socks off with like the first weekend's money, but it's going to be one that like week after week is going to keep racking up money over the first 2-3 months as more dads and grandpas go see Cillian Murphy blow up some countries.
I mean, yeah, just like Denny is not a box office pull, unfortunately. I don't know how much Dune made. It did get released on HBO Max as well, so it definitely had a hurt there. But like Blade Runner 2049 is one of the like biggest flops in movie history in terms of money. He's not a big enough pull. I do think Christopher Nolan's gonna kind of wipe this one.
I don't know. The Dune 2 cast is the only thing that like has me questioning this because like I don't know. This isn't like
is Timmy a box office poll guy though?
I mean, 95% of the movies he's been in have been not blockbusters.
Florence Pugh is.
Timothy just became a blockbuster guy recently.
I guess, yeah. No superhero movies, remember?
Or hard drugs.
Or hard drugs, yeah. Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac's obviously in blockbusters. When you see Robert Downey Jr., you see I'm not even talking Cillian Murphy because no one like is gonna go for him. No offense to him, he's a fantastic actor, but still. Robert Downey Jr. Also Florence Pugh's in both of these, isn't she? No. Is she in Oppenheimer? No, I'm an idiot. I'm thinking.
She's in Oppenheimer. I thought you meant Dune Part 1. She's in Oppenheimer, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Florence Pugh's in both of these. So she's the pole there. You got
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, yeah. I feel like this is about to be a stupid take, so don't quote me on it, but you're more than welcome to quote me on it. I feel like Josh Peck is more of a box office poll just because people are going to be like, oh, Drake and Josh. Like they
not even that. It's not even because of Drake and Josh, because he has like such a crazy social media.
Yeah, he's a big
presence.
social media guy now, like the
Yeah,
David
he's got a
Dobrik
cult
fear.
following. Like,
All right, I'm
crazy.
glad that
Like,
wasn't too stupid of a take, but I feel like
No.
Josh Beck is big. Austin Butler has a chance to be a big pull now that he was Elvis.
That's true. Okay, well, Dune Part 1 made over 400 million at the box office. The fact that that's
did.
released simultaneously with HBO Max,
That's
that's impressive numbers. But other than that, yeah, these are all like Blade Runner 2049 flop. Arrival at 200 million is like, for how quaint of a sci-fi story that is, I feel like that's kind of honestly impressive to me a little bit, even though I'm sure the budget was high, but I feel like that's not the typical blockbuster sci-fi.
No.
And then Prisoners at 122 million is a little crazy to me, because that's when I worked at a movie theater, and I just thought no one went to see that movie, because that was like, I'd never heard of Denis Villeneuve at this point, which, to be fair, I don't think many people had. This is 2013. The only thing he had before that was Ensendé and Polytechnic. And yeah, like you had to do the classic, like, go into every movie theater 20 minutes in and make sure everything's all good. So I would like always do that for Prisoners, and always be the scene where Paul Dano is like getting beat on the sink by Hugh Jackman. And yeah, like I had no clue what this movie was, and I just like walk in the theater and see it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this theater, man? I have to see what this movie is. But then yeah, so we'll see that. I think that'll be a good battle. Oppenheimer, Dune Part 2. I think it'll be a better battle than Barbie. But I still think Barbie's gonna make over 200 million for sure.
I think Barbie's
Dune
still
versus
make a
Dune
lot of
Oppenheimer
money,
is
but it's
gonna be
not going to have the pull that
battle.
Christopher Nolan does.
I will.
Right.
According this podcast, from here on out, we're officially referring to this movie as Dune. Okay, so just please.
That was a hard tweet for you, because like
Now it's
it
tough
took me
tweet.
it took me a while to read
it
until
didn't
it
hit.
registered in my mind.
Yeah,
it's hard to write out too.
TWONE.
Yeah.
Did I miss this tweet of yours?
Yeah, because it took me so long to realize you weren't saying like twone. You're like, I'm officially clone the word twone. I was like, wait, what are we doing?
Twone.
I
Dune.
for sure missed that tweet of yours.
Dune 2. Dune.
Okay. And then we got very little nerd news. Am I stupid? Did more news come out this week that I just completely missed?
Dude, all the news is out already, man. Like,
yeah,
we know what's coming for the rest of the year.
I guess the Adam Driver news is big, but
yeah, the Adam Driver news is the biggest.
I think that's not even like official though.
It's not confirmed, but basically,
I thought I saw it was official now, but I don't think anyone's confirmed it.
Yeah, Adam Driver has reportedly accepted the role of Reed Richards in the MCU. And again, I don't know if it's confirmed. I don't think anyone does. I don't know who like. I think it was confirmed that like the offer was in his hands, and now I think people are just kind of assuming that he's accepting the role.
Yeah, I have this tweet pulled up. Someone tweeted, "Everyone was way too harsh on Krasinski. We had an amazing Reed Richards casting, and now we have ... Adam Driver crying emoji."
Adam Driver's like one of the best actors the last couple of years. Like,
what are we talking about?
He's like a fantastic. Yeah, he's like one of the better options for Reed Richards. That
this person also pays for Twitter Blue, so
that says everything I need to know about that person.
I'm not gonna lie, I have so many spelling errors I've almost considered it. I can't keep spelling things wrong, man.
And James Gunn responds yes when asked if any of the Guardians of the Galaxy cast will be in Superman Legacy.
It's gonna be his wife, man.
That is the only tweet I've been seeing. It's been
or his brother, but I think it will be more than that.
Or his brother.
That's my bold take. I think it won't just be his wife or his brother. I think it will actually be someone from Guardians of the Galaxy will be a major role in Superman Legacy. Not Superman or anything or Lois Lane, but
no, I think Palm. What's her name? Palm
Kemeroff or something.
Clementine. Palm Clementine. I don't know if that's pronounced, but I think she's gonna come over. I think.
Honestly,
I think it'll be his brother, but she's like, I don't think Chris Pratt's gonna go over because he's still in the MCU.
Yeah,
I don't think or Dave Bautista's or Zoe Saldana want to do any more blockbusters.
I feel like Karen Gillan would.
Karen Gillan could.
She could be a good Lois Lane. That's first.
Good.
Like,
I like her.
That's the first one where it like wouldn't surprise me. Like,
yeah.
If you cast Chris Pratt as Superman, I'm gonna freak out. Like
people are gonna be mad. I like Chris Pratt though.
I like Chris Pratt too.
I won't be as mad as most people.
Yeah.
But like Karen Gillan as Lois Lane is something I can like very logically see. That doesn't feel like I'm trying to help my friend out. That feels like I'm trying to cast the best person for this role.
Yeah, I went through James Gunn's whole Twitter, like, because he last night basically said, like, I have, like, an hour, like, ask me any questions, ask me about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I'll respond yes or no. I scrolled through that whole thing for so long, and there's, like, a lot of good nuggets in there that were interesting. Like, the someone asked like, was Cosmo the dog like ever an actual dog on set, or is it 100% CG, or is it just CGI? And he basically said yes, like the dog's just CGI. I was like, I thought for sure that was just a dog. Like, it didn't seem like it had to be CGI. Like it's just a dog sitting there, but there was never a Cosmo the dog. Question. Yeah, just so many. There's a lot of other interesting things that are like escaping me, but
we should say
what?
Because
everyone, are you going to say the one thing?
Yeah, but not again. I'm trying to take myself out of the Twitter brain. Not everyone knows it. Like at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, when he says, "I love you guys," that is us understanding Groot as an audience now that we've been with him for so long. Good nugget. It's gonna get overused. It already is. But again, it probably isn't if you're not just sitting on comic Twitter all day long like I do. So
some other fun facts that are non-spoilers, so don't worry. But like he said that he had all 3 scripts for Guardians of the Galaxy like written exactly as they were like back when Guardians 1 came out. So this was always the plan for the trilogy.
No, wait.
Yeah, he said this is always Rocket being the third movie was always the plan.
Oh, yeah. But he also said like he planned on killing Gamora in the second movie, and then. So I
don't know. Like I don't know if Marvel and him like they made him do like a hush agreement, because someone said like someone asked him, did Gamora being killed off in Infinity War change anything with your plans for the Guardians? He said no. So I don't know if like Marvel now like paying him hush money to say like they didn't ruin his.
I thought
you plans.
I thought you were talking about the tweet where he said that the music he used was never cut. He got every song he wanted
except in Guardians 3.
Except one. Yeah, except one. But he said every song he wrote into the script he got approved. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that's what you were talking about, but he may have always had the plan for Gamora dying. But I saw an interview with him saying he wanted her to die in Guardians 2, but then he talked to the Russo brothers and they had a different idea and whatever.
The Russo brothers. But yeah, he also said like
so tough for, like James Gunn, like he had obviously Guardians 1 came out and probably had like the vision of it. Obviously you said he wrote or had the idea of 2 and 3, and then Infinity War and Endgame come around. And like I have to imagine he had to go through so many like script rewrites because of like where the Russo brothers took the Guardians in those movies.
I think he did have a lot of say in like the Guardians story in Infinity War and stuff like that. But he probably was like, at the end of Endgame, he was probably like, yeah, everyone gets snapped, not Gamora. Just Gamora's cool. We're gonna just brush that one by. I
for the life of me, I still don't understand that.
I know it's just a 40-minute holiday special, but after watching Guardians 3, like the holiday special just felt even weirder to me. Like, and they filmed it simultaneously while they were doing Guardians 3. Like, what's the point? Like, I don't know. And then like the inclusion of them in Thor: Love and Thunder, like a lot of things retroactively just seem so weird now. Like, what the hell were they in Thor: Love and Thunder for? Like, it was so dumb.
Thor: Love and Thunder isn't that just like takes place like assuming after Endgame when they're together, and then that just happens, and then when they leave in Thor: Love and Thunder, they go to nowhere.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Taika Waititi just sucks.
The holiday special, no, he doesn't. We stand Taika Waititi here, but the holiday special, he's a big Star Wars guy, and Star Wars had that holiday special, so I'm sure he just wanted to make one because which the Star Wars holiday special is just one of the worst things ever. So he didn't make that, but he's just a big Star Wars guy, so. I think that's why he.
I didn't even know there was a Star. When the hell was there a Star Wars holiday special?
It's a long time ago, like 1990 or something. Long ago.
So before the prequels.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's bad, dude. It's bad.
Oh man.
It's like really.
All right, let's continue on.
1978.
Because I know we're on a little bit of a time crunch today. So the last bit of news, speaking of Taika Waititi and Star Wars, Taika Waititi is reportedly committed to directing his Star Wars film next year. We've known he was attached to a Star Wars project. We don't know what the project is. So there's really it's annoying when like news like this kind of drops because we want to talk about it, but there's just I don't know what to say. Like, cool. I think Taika Waititi directing a Star Wars film could be really fun. Also, wow, speaking of which, completely off topic, I saw a couple of tweets where people were basically like, well, now that James Gunn is leaving Marvel, and there's obviously the Guardian spoilers, so skip ahead like 10 seconds, please. The end of the movie, it said like the legendary Star-Lord will return. People are saying that what's his name, Bill Hader, should take over like the Guardians franchise because of like how successful Barry is with like the dramatic tone and the comedic tone. And I thought
He just didn't his last episode?
Yeah, so I know none of us watched Barry, but he basically he took a huge stab at Chloe Zhao and like made fun of her, basically saying like, look at these people who are like indie directors going over to Marvel, how embarrassing of them to do that. So like he basically said, he made a whole episode about like anyone who goes and directs superhero movies like sucks, basically. So he's very anti. And it's funny because he got Sean Hayter, who directed Coda, to like play quote unquote Chloe Zhao, or to like play like the person who's like an indie director that all of a sudden becomes a corpo person. So I don't think Bill Hader ever will, even though, yeah, I did see that like so many people were tweeting, and then there was a lot of like, does he know type things, because like Bill Hader's like, yeah, I would rather die than ever be in like a franchise like that.
Yeah, I guess.
But
so,
like it would like cool. Logically it would
never happen. But yeah. Damn, I didn't know he ripped apart Chloe Zhao like that. That's
Also, Chloe Zhao's the best part of that movie. Like, that movie is struggles, but it looks fucking great.
Bro, I gotta be in my minority and like thoroughly.
I like that movie.
It's enough. I don't love it, but it's a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's like a really solid, like
I think I have it
decently above average film.
Yeah, I think it's solid. I think he's more making fun of the principle than what she did.
For the longest time, and it immediately cut me off after this. For the longest time, it was like the lowest rated Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, like a 47%.
Which is that's absurd. But
yeah, that's just incorrect. Like it's not. People were just upset how like different it felt from the rest of the MCU.
Yeah.
Also, the most overused comic book Twitter tweet of all time is, "It's been 6 movies since there's been a floating hand in the middle of the ocean, and they still haven't addressed it."
I swear it's a meme at this point. It's got to be. No way people are still like.
No way people care that much.
It's like y'all clearly didn't care about Eternals when it came out, so why you acting like you keep caring about the plot of it now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, make up your fucking mind. All right, well, that basically wraps up our news portion. Like we said, there just really wasn't a lot to cover this week, but now we get into our game. No draft today, but I am pinning Tyler versus Cameron in a little 25-question trivia. I've broken it down into 5 categories of 5 questions. I like to think these aren't the most difficult questions. I think there are some difficult ones. I think there are some ones that I think you should get. The categories are the Oscars, Marvel, George, myself, A24, and miscellaneous. Good. So we are going to just run down the line. Category 1 is Oscars. So basically, I'm going to ask the question. You guys write the answers down, and then after every category, I will just read off the answers, and we will then notebook.
Do I need a physical piece of paper?
I'd prefer it.
I just got mine. But
I trust you.
Every week on these damn Real Funds, even though it's part of the episode, I suck at this. I'm the worst at these Real Fun trivias.
I promise you, I don't think these are as difficult as I think.
Okay, so we got 25 questions total.
25 questions.
Cam's going to body me on the Marvel portions. Hopefully I get the George portion 5 for 5.
I don't think the George portion is as difficult as I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
I hope it's just like the most ego-stroking questions ever. Like, what is George's biggest point differential in a tennis match he's ever had? How much did he win by?
40 love. All right, let's do this thing.
All right.
Hold on. Sorry, I am just.
So what is this? Oscars? This is going to be my worst.
This is Oscars. 5 questions, and then we go from there.
It's not like a buzz in. I
mean, how do you? It's up to you guys. We could just.
I think buzz in would work better. IMO.
Okay, so let's do that.
Okay, we'll do buzz in.
Cool. Buzz in.
All right.
Just numbered my paper for nothing.
With 3 people, it's harder to buzz in. But...
Yeah. How is the buzzing going to work? You're just going to go
buzz.
Okay, fair.
Or just first one to say it. But if you say one and you get it wrong, you're not allowed to guess a second time until the other person guesses.
Fair. That's very true. Okay. Category 1, Oscars. Question 1. What year was the first Academy Awards ceremony held?
1980.
1920.
No.
1935.
No.
1947.
Are we getting hotter or colder? Give me a lower.
Lower than what Tyler just said.
1940.
Lower.
39.
Lower.
37.
Lower. Jesus Christ.
34.
Lower.
32.
Lower.
30.
Lower.
28.
Higher. Are
29.
you kidding me?
29. 29.
I don't
Yeah,
want to give either of you guys.
That's very
Wow.
fair. That's very
That
fair.
was
None of us should
amazing.
get a point for that.
I am not giving either of you guys that point.
Why'd I skip one? Damn it.
What is
well,
Bill
now
Gates' net worth? 999,999. Just keep counting.
That
up.
one was tough. I feel like the rest are going to be a little worse.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
God.
I don't know shit about the Oscars.
Question 2, I will accept 2 answers because there are 2 answers. Which actor and actress, that's a hint, holds the record for most acting nominations without a win?
So, Meryl Streep.
Without a win.
No, without a win. Oh, shit. Is it? Okay. Tyler can't. Or I
Oh,
can, I guess,
God.
yeah. Doesn't she have like $1 billion, though? She's won, obviously. That was silly.
One of these,
I have another guess, but Tyler.
one of the
I can
answers is
wait.
a male, one is a female. The female most recently lost to Olivia Colman at the
18 or something.
2018 Academy Awards.
Got a guess, Tyler?
No, you got it.
Can I just throw out a guess? Glenn Close?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I would
so I
have
know
never
that.
pulled Glenn Close.
Glenn
I
Close
knew-
is correct. And
yeah.
the male
Deville.
was Peter O'Toole.
Damn, I was going to say
Yeah.
Jake G.
I was going to say Paul Dano.
Yeah, no, I
Both would've
definitely
been
would not have
valid
gotten
picks.
I would have not gotten the Tool, man.
So does
Question
Cam get a
three.
half
Do I get a
point for
half?
that?
Do I get a half? Is it
I'll,
one
I'll
half?
give
to-
Cam a half point.
Is
Yeah.
it 1/2 to 1 pity?
Yeah. Question 3. In 1973, what movie became the first horror film to ever be nominated for Best Picture?
The Shining.
No.
Damn.
No, that was 70. Or no, that was 80.
Yeah. 80.
The Exorcist.
Correct.
Damn. Good pull.
The Exorcist.
Good guess.
This one I think should be a bit easier. Question 4. For Best Actor, who is the youngest ever winner?
Paul Mescal.
Adrian Brody.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
it's- yeah. Damn it. I knew that too. I just threw out a name.
Wait, who
And
did
the
you
final
say?
Paul Mescal.
Paul Mescal.
Oh, he didn't
Didn't
freaking
win.
win.
And the final question of the Oscars category: which animated film was the first of its kind to be nominated for Best Picture?
Lion
Story.
King.
No and no.
Toy
Beauty and the
Story 3.
Beast.
No and yes. Tyler, yes.
Damn.
Oh, we're on a
Beauty.
streak, boys. We're on a 3-point
Beauty
streak.
and the Beast.
Fucking old.
All right, so after round 1, Tyler leads 3-0.
All my knowledge stops at like 27. Like, of anything.
All right, well, you better get all 5 of these correct
All right.
for Marvel.
Yeah.
All right, we are on our Marvel category. Question 1. Stan Lee made his final cameo in which Marvel movie?
Avengers Endgame.
Okay, now Cam's rolling. Cam's locked in. Cam is so locked in. Question 2. What does SHIELD stand for?
Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
Yeah.
Happy I don't know that, honestly.
Wow.
Oh, I need to touch grass.
Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, famously wears an eye patch. Over which eye is that eye patch?
Left.
Correct.
Yeah, you had a 50-50, and I'm pretty confident. I was also going to say left, but you threw it out too quick.
This one might be unfair because I don't know if Tyler has seen the show that this is from. Tyler, have you seen every Marvel show?
Nope.
No.
But it's
All
okay. It's okay.
This might be unfair. What is the motto or slogan of the Flag Smashers?
I have seen that one.
Yeah, I don't.
Always be smashing.
Correct.
Something,
so
about,
none of you guys-
something
it is-
about a fist.
No, it's one world, one people.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
And
No
final
one.
question of
What
the
is it?
Marvel,
4 to 2.5?
4 to 2.5.
All right, cool.
Final question of, and I will give you a half a point for each answer here. What are the names of Wanda's 2 kids?
Billy.
Pietro. Pietro's brother.
Billy is
dumbass.
one of them.
Billy and
It's another aggressively generic white dude
I know. You dumbass. Don't say it. You dumb fucking idiot me.
Come on, you got this.
I know it.
Billy
Shut up.
and-
Shut
not
up.
James.
No.
What's the first
Shut up.
letter?
Oh, damn it.
T.
Tyler. Tommy.
No.
Tommy. Fuck.
Tommy.
Okay, so
All
Cam, we each get a point for that.
You each get half a point for that.
Okay, half a point.
All right.
Half
we're
a
still
point.
at that
So
halftime.
after 2 rounds, I got Tyler at 4.5 and Cam at 3. Category 3,
George.
George.
3.5.
Motherfuckers. This is going to be tough.
Okay.
A few weeks back, we ranked our 10 favorite movies of all time on the episode of A Real Quick. What was number 4 on my list?
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That
was your
Arrival.
4th favorite scene.
Nope.
Okay, so is it Blade Runner?
Yes, it is.
Good pull. Good pull.
It is Blade Runner.
Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse is your 4th favorite scene. The Leap of Faith.
Yeah.
There's
Okay, so you weren't just throwing that out.
There's a George
Here's
poll.
a George fun fact.
Yeah.
Question number 2. On my list of the greatest movies of all time, what is number 1?
Shawshank.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
No, yeah, he changed it.
Correct.
Wait, what did it used to be?
Shawshank. It
Shawshank.
was
Oh,
definitely Shawshank.
It was
at one
Shawshank for a while, and then I changed it to 2001.
Yeah.
Question number 3, and I will accept an answer within 5K. How many TikTok followers do I have?
373,000.
Wow.
Dude, I track our following every week on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's-
I think I don't know
you
this.
do.
I have media packages for all of us. I know all this
damn
stuff
it.
like the back of my
I forgot
hand.
about that.
What's score at? What's score?
We are at
I'm 2 back, maybe.
6.5 to 4.
Okay, so I'm 2.5 behind. Damn. Got a
Nothing
couple
more
of
dangerous
shit.
in sports than a 6.5 to 4 lead.
It's 28
Question
to
number
3.
4. And I will. This is technically a 2-parter because I have a 5th question, but I wanted to include both of these questions in this as well. Who is my favorite athlete and what is my favorite song of all time?
Roger Federer.
Correct. I've definitely.
Piano Man, Billy Joel.
No. You're not far off. I'll give you that hint.
I don't know any other Billy Joel movies.
Probably doesn't have any movies. God, it's like such an obvious one too.
I don't know if it's obvious. I'll give you a
Okay,
hint. It is
fair.
Billy Joel.
Yeah, and I
know.
just don't. His
I don't
songs are
have
just
I don't have
escaping me.
Billy Joel songs.
It's I don't know
Not
The-
the.
yeah.
It's a city. It's a city.
San Francisco.
No.
Dallas,
No. Come on.
Detroit.
Oh my God. This is tough to hear.
Brooklyn.
It's Vienna.
I would have gotten
Wasn't
that.
even the right
Never.
country. It was not in the right country.
I will give Cam half a point for
Yeah.
that answer.
Okay.
And last question, again, a 2-parter. So half a point for each. What is my favorite movie genre and what is my favorite film of that genre?
Sci-fi and
Yes.
Arrival.
Correct.
That one was just like a too obvious one almost. Where I was like
that was
dumbfounded
too
at first.
I didn't know if tossing in that obvious one would
Yeah.
stump you guys.
The man was too stunned to speak.
All right.
Category 4, where are we at right now? We have
We're at,
Is it 6.5 to
Tyler is
5.5?
at-
I think so.
Where's my math? 6.5.
Maybe to 6.
And Cam is at 4, 5.5.
Okay, yeah, that's what I guess.
We are close. A24, category number 4.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
We're starting off very easy, I think. What is currently on Letterboxd the highest rated A24 film?
Everything
No,
Everywhere,
no,
all-
fuck. Parasite's Neon.
It is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Question number 2, and this is a 2-parter. Now I just think this is too tough of a question.
Good, I need
If I'm
something.
being honest. How many Oscar nominations has A24 received and how many have they won?
So for Best Picture, for anything.
Anything, just total.
42.
Wow,
And-
you are not far off.
And 12.
Not far off either, but incorrect.
45 and 14.
No.
Can you give me upper or lower?
Up for both of those.
48 and 18.
Up, low.
52 and 17.
Low, low.
50, 16.
Wrong. Correct.
Oh, nice. I don't think
48,
this one
16.
counts yet.
Wrong on 48.
Yeah, this is a
49.
no pointer.
49.
No pointer. No,
No
pointer.
pointer.
I'm not giving you
One
any
one
points.
pity point. One pity
I'm not
point.
giving you any points for that one. Okay. A24's 2022 release, Everything Everywhere All at Once, has famously become their highest grossing film to date. What is their second highest grossing movie to date?
Can I get Lady Bird?
No, you may not. This might surprise you, I think.
Well, I can't guess again until Cam guesses.
Yeah.
I'll throw out a guess then, just for fun. Moonlight.
No,
Can I get Midsummer?
you cannot.
Hereditary.
Correct.
Oh, you
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
right.
man.
Hereditary was the correct answer.
God, Cam. I think Cam's taking a 1 point lead.
7.5.
Yeah, one point lead. This one might be a bit easier. In 2013, A24 released a coming-of-age romance film starring Miles Teller. Name that movie.
The Spectacular Now.
I was gonna say Whiplash.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, are you sure?
Final question. And this is this is a multiple choice question, so it's a bit, because you were just gonna have to write it down. I didn't think we were gonna do a buzzer, but whatever, we'll figure it out. Which
Don't
one of
make it
these
multiple
A24 films is based on a true story?
Yeah.
Lady Bird, The Farewell, Good Time, or Come On, Come On?
The
Lady
Farewell.
Bird.
The Farewell.
I thought Lady Bird was Greta Gerwig's life story.
It's like loosely. She's confirmed it's not a true story, but it has themes that resonate from her life. I did
Gotcha.
Google that before making that question.
So what do we got? 8.5 to 7.5. Cam with the lead. going in
8.5 to 7.5.
Whew, neck and
That's
neck.
hard.
What's the last category?
Miscellaneous.
Oh, perfect way to end this.
Miscellaneous.
Yeah.
Question 1. What was the first feature-length animated film ever released?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Correct. Good pull.
Thank you.
Question 2. In Die Hard, what is the name of the skyscraper?
Willis Tower? Sears Tower?
No and no.
It's definitely in New York, so that was stupid. Right? Maybe I'm going crazy.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Madison Square Garden Tower.
No. Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah, never getting that one.
I can't say I'm
Damn,
like a
really? That's
diehard.
it?
I can't say I'm like a diehard knowledgeable.
I haven't
That's
seen it
fair.
in way too long, personally.
That's fair. Damn, I feel like the rest of these questions might be a little difficult.
No, that's good.
Question
hold on.
3.
So we're at Cam 9.5 to me 7.5. So I got to sweep the final three if I
Yeah,
want to win.
you gotta sweep all 3 of these. Which famous film composer wrote the music for Tim Burton's 1989 Batman?
Fuck, I know it.
And I will give you a
Same
hint.
guy who did
Same guy who
Spider-Man.
did Spider-Man.
It's
Raimi's Spider-Man.
Yes, I know. What is his name? It is son of a bitch. Give me a sec.
I'm not going to get it. So it's either Cam can think of it or
Yeah, I won't think as long about this one as you don't have to give me the point, but give me the first letter.
D.
Yeah, it's D. Shit. Danny. I know it's
Gustafson.
Danny.
Christmas. Will
Just say
Ferrell.
it.
Will Ferrell
Just say
movie.
it. Just say it.
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman.
Oh.
Thank you. Yep.
All right, so
Yeah,
now my
damn
best
it.
hope is a tie. I need to pull these last two for a tie.
Yeah,
And then you're going to have to
if
think
you
of a
can-
tiebreaker. But I won't be
This
able to
next
pull.
one might be a bit tougher. I apologize for
Oh,
putting this
shit.
one in here.
I knew that one. Stupid.
What is the highest grossing foreign language film at the U.S. box office?
Is it a
Parasite?
movie we know?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Not
I'll give you a
Parasite.
hint. The director of this film is also like an acclaimed actor.
Fuck. Cam's going to pull this before me.
It's not Parasite, right?
Not
I just
Parasite, no.
okay. I didn't know if you were.
Is it an older movie? Pre 2000?
No, I think this is mid 2000s.
So it's not. Yeah, fuck. The director is an acclaimed actor. I feel like this is a poll we should be able to get. Acclaimed actor is a director.
Is it like a Bruce Lee movie?
No.
Yeah,
trying to think of another.
U.S. box office. It's an acclaimed actor.
Yeah.
I don't know it. Spirited Away.
No.
Not an acclaimed actor, but I'll throw out a.
Yeah, I won't waste any more time. I'll wave the white flag.
Nothing.
I can't get it.
The answer is The Passion of Christ.
Oh.
Mel
That's a-
Gibson.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't even know it was a foreign film, honestly.
Talk about
Yeah.
a movie I was not thinking of.
Yeah.
I kind of figured. All right, this is the easy question of the round. Who is the only person ever to receive an Oscar nomination for an acting performance in a Star Wars movie?
Harrison Ford?
No, it's not. It's fucking. God damn it, Cam. God, son of a bitch.
Come
Ass.
on.
I know it too. Oh, son of a bitch. Is it? Why can't I think?
So it's not one of the main people then.
I can't think of his name.
Come on. Yeah, just give me the character he plays.
Is it Palpatine?
No.
Darth Sidious.
Oh, really?
No.
Count Dooku?
No. Wow. You guys really don't know this.
Maybe I'm an idiot. Star Wars?
Star
Best
Wars.
actor. It's definitely not Luke.
No. I never said best actor.
Oh. Wait, what was
Acting
it for?
nomination.
Just acting.
It could be
nomination.
supporting. You know?
Oh, best supporting. Okay. Is it Ewan McGregor?
No.
It's definitely not. Hayden Christensen, definitely not.
No.
That
would be crazy.
James Earl Jones.
No. God damn, you guys.
I don't know.
I mean, the answer is Alec Guinness
Oh, for Obi-Wan.
for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That is the answer.
I think I definitely did have heard that before, but it's not knowledge I had.
Interesting. I feel like that's like,
Sorry.
I don't know, not general knowledge, but that's like pretty big.
I thought
Star
that would be a
Wars.
poll Cam should know.
That's
for
like
sure.
one of those Star
That's
Wars.
definitely something I should know.
That's just
I'll
something.
admit.
That's like one of those like Michael B. Jordan anime Creed 3 fun facts that I always see randomly floating
I
around.
told you, man.
Twitter.
Even in Star Wars, my knowledge stops at 2017, man.
All right,
So
so,
Cam wins.
final tally: Cam 9.5, Tyler.
Another
7.5.
trivia episode of Taking Outline. I just can't do these trivias, man.
It's all right.
All right. Well, that
Wrap her up.
concludes episode 35 of the ReelTok Podcast. Shout out to all of our executive producers: Al Bodie, Mac Wells, Marcellus, Remy Walker, Jeffy Mod, Ben Legge, Ben Hansey, Benjamin Vetch, Bram Vitz, Dean Katamanides, Dylan Shep, Ferdinando Four, John Anderson, Jordan Gagg, Josh Hines, Luke. I'm going to butcher this last name. I'm so sorry. Luke Dear Hog, Relapse, our man Alan, who joined our Patreon watch along last night, Tacos Rule Khan, Tobias Johnson, Will Kim, and Eunice BBX. As always, we are all over social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. So give us a rating, give us a like, a subscribe. You guys know how much your support means to us. We will catch you next week on episode 36.